Hello, hello, hello. Hello and good time zone to you all. Welcome in. It is nice to see you all. Hello. Oh boy, hold on. Where's, yep, wrong. A little bit of feedback. Okay, there we go. All right, that's better. Welcome in. Good time zone to you all. Hope you're all doing well today. It is a cold one here today. I am freezing. As I've said a number of times, my house is so poorly insulated that I could lick my hand, stick it on my outer wall, and it'd stick. Plus, in most homes, your heater vents are on your outer walls towards the floor. Well, my heater vents are on the inside walls towards the ceiling. Hot air rises. This house makes no goddamn sense. So, I mean, I can only hope that the damn thing blows up or burns to the ground with nobody in it and rebuild it the right way. But until that time, I have to deal with it. So if you ever tune into a stream and you see me here in a winter coat and hat and gloves and a scarf, you'll know that it's damn cold out. Yo, Hench Toes, welcome in. Nice to see you today. Thank you for stopping in, as always. And with everybody else, thank you all for stopping in. I hope you're doing well. How was your... It is... Is it cold? Yes, it is cold outside here. On the east coast of the United States where I am, it is cold. I remember you saying last time you were having like a heat wave in the UK, so... Been at work all last week. And again, that's fine. I understand. You do what you have to. People have to work. I fully understand that. You missed some good Danganronpa streams, though. We finished up Danganronpa V3 on Saturday, and what an ending. Stream Raiders is currently broken because they're starting a new campaign tomorrow. And it was down for maintenance, and it is still down. I cannot load the Stream Raiders page. Yeah, Stream Raiders website cannot be reached. I don't think I can go through the Stream Raiders desktop app. At least I don't think. I'm going to try right now. It's probably going to tell me it's still down for maintenance, so that's fine. We will have to continue without it tonight. Also, I need to address, after stream yesterday, it looked like I picked up another subscription. But nothing popped up as far as an alert goes. Nothing popped up as a sub or a gift sub. I did not get any notification that a sub happened. So I had to go through my sub list. Thankfully it's short. And it looks like Sammy Otter subscribed yesterday. Alright, Hench Toes, you go get your snack and drink. I'll be here. We'll be here for a bit. At least for another 3 hours. Yeah, that is toast. So we're going to close that out. So yes, it looks like Sammy Otter, if Twitch is correct, obviously. If Twitch is correct in giving me my correct sub list, it looks like Sammy Otter resubbed yesterday. So Sammy, I do apologize for not thanking you yesterday. I will thank you today for becoming a sub. It doesn't say if you subbed yourself or if you were gifted a sub or what, but nothing came up in chat. No notification popped up. But, Sammy, thank you. Thank you for that sub. Very kind of you. I always said that I would not play games like the Colonel Sanders dating game or Dream Daddy or stuff like that. That's not my it's not my cup of tea. That's not my wheelhouse, as I should say. But others have played it. I was looking for something to listen to while I worked today, and I saw that Jacksepticeye did do a playthrough of Dream Daddy. So I broke down and I started the playlists. I think it's like 8 or 9 VODs of his, YouTube VODs, of Dream Daddy. And watching it, it really isn't for me. It definitely isn't for me. No, I'm not criticizing or calling out or picking on anybody who's into that. That everybody has their own game preferences. But yeah, that's not for me. I got through. I think it's like 8 or 9 episodes. I got through 1 1/3, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can go anymore. And Jack was making it entertaining, as Jack does. He was making it entertaining, even down to creating his own dad, his own character. It was hilarious. But yeah, that's not for me. And I don't know how DDLC is going to be for me. And again, for those that don't know, DDLC is the abbreviation I gave for Doki Doki Literature Club. This way I don't have to say the whole thing. I don't know if other people are giving it that abbreviation. It looks like that's the abbreviation in the game menu, DDLC. So Doki Doki is great. I don't know much about the game. The only thing I know is the game deals with some heavy content. And the game itself gives warnings at the beginning that this game is not suitable for everyone. So I'm going to try it out. I'm going to have to use mouse and keyboard because it does not appear to work with a controller, because I tried. I did boot it up to see if I could use a controller with it, and it wasn't working, so I'm going to have to use mouse and keyboard. But we're going to give it a shot today. We're going to see what happens. But yeah, as far as my Monday goes, typical Monday. Got up, took the wife and son to work, came home, worked myself. After work, I took a little brief nap, maybe 5-10 minutes, because I was a little tired. Plus, Stream Raiders has been broken for a couple hours now, so I hopped into my recliner here, covered up with my blanket that I have here on my legs, and fell asleep for like 10 minutes. Then my wife come down and wake me up and say, "Hey, your dinner's ready." She's very kind. So yeah, that was my Monday. I don't know if anybody had anything spectacular going on over the weekend. We just finished Danganronpa V3 and did some more Kiwami 2 yesterday. And when I say did some more Kiwami 2, I mean we did Club Sunshine, or Club 4 Shine. You just slept on Monday? If you have a hard week, and I completely understand that, Hench Toes. I completely understand taking a day just to sleep and rest. I wish I could do that, but unfortunately I can't. Delete this. Sometimes, and Jago, welcome in. Nice to see you. Good evening, sir. Hope you're doing well today. For some reason, when I transfer over some files, when I export from Twitch to YouTube, for some reason, sometimes the files duplicate. It's kind of funny. Yeah, I'm well aware of that. Oh no, Jago, that's fine. You do what you need to. You do you. You have fun. I did say that the portion of the stream on Saturday was muted by Twitch because I had copyrighted material, which was Weird Al's Polka Face song, which was, you know, the background song to that Danganronpa video. And Twitch muted that. Well, when I exported it over to YouTube, they also put a copyright claim on the video for that muted section, which is kind of funny because it shouldn't be able to be heard on YouTube because Twitch muted it. I think that's how it works, unless it's only muted on Twitch. And if I export it to YouTube, you can hear it. But again, my YouTube isn't monetized. I have 11 subscribers on YouTube, and to each and every one of you, thank you. Thank you for subscribing on YouTube, which again is just my Twitch VODs. So, you know, it's not like I'm looking to make money off it or anything, so. But, boom, boom, boom. Danganronpa V3. Safe. All right. So, the Danganronpa V3 playlist is now complete. 21 streams it took to complete V3. Just, you know, drop by for the extra streams and not a dookie. Oh, and Jago, and again, I fully understand, and that's fine. And again, I'm going to start it because it was there. It seemed interesting. If it's something that I'm not into, I won't finish it. You know, if it, you know, I'm going to give it at least a stream, if not 2 streams, you know, today and Wednesday, to see if I like it. If I do, I'll continue it. If I don't, I'll just say it's not for me. I bought it because I've seen others were playing it. I didn't watch them play it, but I saw that they did play it. It's another visual novel similar to Danganronpa. I don't think it's like a detective style like Danganronpa, but we'll see what happens. But I fully understand. This is not everybody's cup of tea. Not to mention the content can be a little heavy. So I obviously don't want to put anybody into any uncomfortable situation. So, you know, I don't want to have anybody affected by the content of the stream or the content of the game. So that's why content warning is in big capital letters. So, but yeah, that's quite understandable, Jago. It's, you know, I don't watch every game. You know, the streamers that I follow, I'm not into every game that they play. And, you know, while I may lurk and leave the stream open, if I'm not doing anything, I'll, you know, just to support them. But you're going to go stream, that's perfectly fine. Obviously, you do what you need to do. But I'm going to give Stream Raiders one last shot here. Yeah, I think it's going to be... We might not be able to do Stream Raiders tonight just because it's been down for at least 2 hours. And it ain't working. All right, let's see how this works. Close you out, bring you up. So if it starts to work, I don't know what this is. I don't know if if this is part of the game or what, but yeah, see, it says side stories are stories of friendship that are unrelated to the events of the main game. To get all 6 side stories, try writing poems for different characters and viewing their special scenes in DDLC. See, I'm not a writer. That alone may get me to stop playing this. I am not a writer. I'm not a poet. I am not the English class type of person. My favorite classes are always math and science. Social was probably third. History, social studies. English was always my least favorite class. So, but I don't know if like this Metaverse Enterprise Solutions thing, whatever the hell this is, this appears to be part of the game. I don't know how it fits into the game, but we'll see. And if it's mouse and keyboard, I'm probably going to have to be looking over here more than over here. Thank you, Jago. You stay safe as well, obviously. Excuse me. Also, as is tradition, this game is not suitable for children or those who are easily disturbed. When the game puts that right up front, I know there's an issue. And let me go into my settings. I do like this song. I get a very, almost like a Legends of Zelda Skyward Sword vibe from it. Okay. I turned the volume down to 50 on the game itself. The game audio output is down to 50. It was at 100 when I started. Now it's down to 50. So, if, as always, when I start a new game, if the game audio is too quiet or too loud, please, by all means, let me know. I have my PC volume at 20. And I had to turn the game down to 50 so it's not making my ears bleed. If you have your PC up to, if you have your listening device, I'll say up to like 70 or 80, and you can't hear the game, I'll turn it up and just turn my PC down so it doesn't hurt my ears. And if the opposite is true, if it's at 50 and you're at 10 and it's still making your ears bleed, I'll just turn it down some more. So, for anybody that pops in, game audio, microphone audio, if there's a problem, please, by all means, let me know. You're not embarrassing yourself. You're not embarrassing me. You're letting me know because I obviously can't hear what you're hearing as a viewer to the stream. You get a slice of life anime from this music. Now, again, hench toes. I'm not an anime viewer. My anime experience consists of 2 shows, Pokemon and Cells at Work. And I started watching Pokemon when it first was released on TV. And Cells at Work, I started watching because it has a number of Persona voice actors in it. Jeremy Lee, of course, Makoto, Billy Kometz, Dr. Maruki, Robbie Damon, Takechi, Laura Post, Kasumi. And I saw it had Kaylee Mill. Xanthe Quinn, Haru. Perfect like always with the sound. Hench toes, you got work on the brain. But right now, I actually like this. I like the song. It's very upbeat. I could move my ass to it. I like the song. So we'll see what happens. All right, if everybody's ready. Full disclosure, again, I only know that this game deals with heavy situations. I don't know how they will play out. I don't know how they come about. I just know there's some heavy stuff that goes on in this game, so If you are uncomfortable with it, I fully understand. If you have to tune out or wait till like the VOD to watch the replay and skip parts. But, yeah, I don't know who the hell these 4 girls are. I think there was actually I think there was a disclaimer at the beginning of the game, too, that all characters are over 18 years of age. I would imagine that is for those individuals who think these girls are underage, and I'm sure the situations that get dealt with are of an adult nature. That's my guess. Again, I'm going into this practically blind. Similar to how I went into Danganronpa, the Danganronpa games. Completely blind, other than the fact I know that it deals with some serious situations. Alright, again, I'm going to have to look to my big screen here because that's where my mouse is. It's kind of hard to watch this screen and have my mouse working over here. So you're going to get a nice shot of the right side of my face. There is no good side. You know how some people say, shoot me from this side or this side because it's my good side. I don't have a good side. I have this face. So, all right. Enough chit-chat. Let's get going here. Please enter my name. All right. Well, I started this with... I actually started this with Final Fantasy. When I downloaded the Pixel remasters, I knew that you had the ability to name your characters. And I put in channel points redemptions for somebody from the audience, a viewer, to name a character. Well, I need to name my character. If somebody is in chat and wants to redeem those points to name my character, you go right ahead. I'll give you a couple seconds. If not, I'm just going to put my name. Hopefully most of this game is voiced. And I'm not going to wear my voice out reading dialogue. Yeah, Jago's streaming Demon Slayer. He started that the other day. He was having internet issues. I think yesterday. I was watching him before stream, and he was having internet connectivity issues. All right, I'm just gonna name my character. Here we go. Hey! I see an annoying girl running toward me from the... wow, we're starting off right. An annoying girl running toward me from the distance, waving her arms in the air like she's totally oblivious to any attention she might draw to herself. That girl is Sayori, my neighbor and good friend since we were children. You know, the kind of friend you'd never see yourself making today, but it just kind of works out because you've known each other for so long. Let me see if I can do this. We used to walk to school together on days like this, but starting around high school, she would oversleep more and more frequently, and I would get tired of waiting up. But if she's going to chase after me like this, I almost feel better off running away. However, I just sigh and idle in front of the crosswalk and let Sayori catch up to me. Oh, hi, Sayori. I think she's out of breath. I overslept again. Alright, you can hear my voice. I have a deeper voice. I don't do girl voices very well. There are some streamers who can do a nice anime girl voice. That's not me. I'm sorry. I overslept again. But I caught you this time. Maybe, but only because I decided to stop and wait for you. You said that like you were thinking about ignoring me. Well, I think I was. Oh, the pouty face. Party face. That's mean, Cecil. And again, you will hear me flip back and forth between Cecil and Cecil. I always pronounced it Cecil when I was growing up playing Final Fantasy II. But when they brought out the Final Fantasy IV Advanced, then they actually voiced lines in the game, and they pronounced it Cecil. You're going to hear me bounce back and forth. Well, if people stare at you for acting weird, then I don't want them to think we're a couple or something. Fine, fine. But you did wait for me after all. I guess you don't have it in you to be mean, even if you want to. Whatever you say, Sayori. We cross the street together and make our way to school. As we draw near, the streets become increasingly speckled with other students making their daily commute. By the way, Cecil, have you decided on a club to join yet? Well, I'm guessing I'm joining a literature club. A club? I told you already, I'm really not interested in joining any clubs. Yeah, see, I can hit the buttons. I can hit the buttons to advance. Oh, it's right stick. Oh, hell then. Here we go. I haven't been looking either. That's not true. You told me you would join a club this year. Did I? I'm sure it's possible that I did in one of our many conversations where I dismissively got along with go along with whatever she's going on about. Sayori likes to worry a little too much about me, when I'm perfectly content just getting by on the average while spending my free time on games and anime. Yeah, see, I spend more of my time on games, not quite the anime. Uh-huh. I was talking about how I'm worried that you won't learn how to socialize or have any skills before college. Your happiness is really important to me, you know. And I know you're happy now, but I die at the thought of you becoming a NEET in a few years because you're not used to the real world. You trust me, right? What is a NEET? Don't make me keep worrying about you. All right. I'll look at a few clubs if it makes you happy. No promises, though. Will you at least promise me you'll try a little? Yeah, I guess I'll promise you that. Yay! Why do I let myself get lectured by such a carefree girl? Yeah, see, I'm used to using left stick. This is right stick. More than that, I'm surprised I even let myself relent to her. I guess seeing her worry so much about me makes me want to ease her mind at least a little bit, even if she does exaggerate everything inside of her head. Oh, hi. The school day is as ordinary as ever, and it's over before I know it. After I pack up my things, I stare blankly at the wall, looking for an ounce of motivation. Clubs. Sayori wants me to check out some clubs. I guess I have no choice but to start with the anime club. Hello? Sayori? Sorry, I must have come into the classroom while I was spacing out. I look around and realize that I'm the only one left in the classroom. I thought I'd catch you coming out of the classroom, but I saw you just sitting here and spacing out, so I came in. Honestly, you're even worse than me sometimes. I'm impressed. You don't need to wait up for me if it's going to make you late to your own club. Well, I thought you might need some encouragement, so I thought, know what? Well, that you could come into my club. Sayori? Yeah? There's no way I'm going to your club. Oh, that's mean. Meanie. Sayori is vice president of the literature club. Not that I was ever aware that she had any interest in literature. I'm evil? Yeah, apparently so. Apparently I'm a big meanie. In fact, I'm 99% sure she only did it because she thought it would be fun to help start a new club. Since she was the first one to show interest after the one who proposed the club, she inherited the title of vice president. That said, my interest in literature is guaranteed to be even less. You want to know what? This character is me more and more. Yeah, I'm going to the anime club. Come on, please. Why do you care so much anyway? Well, something tells me the literature club is in danger of folding. I kind of told the club yesterday I would bring in a new member. And Natsuki made cupcakes and everything. Okay, well, you had me at cupcakes. Who is this Natsuki? Hehe. Don't make promises you can't keep. I can't tell if Sayori is really that much of an airhead, or if she's so cunning as to have planned all of this out. I let out a long sigh. Fine, I'll stop by for a cupcake, okay? Yes, let's go! Look at that face. How could you not help but be cheered up by that face? And thus, today marks the day I sold my soul for a cupcake. Listen, there are some people that may sell their soul for a donut. I dejectedly followed Sayori across the school and upstairs, a section of the school I rarely visit. Sayori, full of energy, swings open the classroom door. Everyone, the new member is here. Yeah, I get really big Skyward Sword vibes from this for some reason. I told you, don't call me a new member. I'm probably gonna bop along to the music, by the way, too. So if I make you motion sick by me moving along, let me know. I'll stop. I glance around the room. Welcome to the Literature Club. It's a pleasure meeting you. Hi. I do like girls with purple hair. Sayori always says nice things about you. They're all lies. Seriously? You brought a boy? Okay. Way to kill the atmosphere. This is meant to be played by men? Ah, Cecil, what a nice surprise. Oh, hi. I like the bow. Welcome to the club. You listen to this music all the time at work and play Call of Duty Zombies. La, 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 shooting zombies in the face. That is an interesting combination, Hench Toast. I will say that. That is a very interesting combination. But again, I listen to Persona 4 OST while I work, so I mean... all words escape me in this situation. This club is full of incredibly cute girls. What are you looking at? If you want to say something, say it. Sorry. Natsuki? The girl with the sour attitude, whose name is apparently Natsuki, is one I don't recognize. Her small figure makes her look like a first-year student. She's also the one who made cupcakes, according to Sayori. You can just ignore her when she gets moody. Sayori says that quietly into my ear, then turns back towards the other girls. Anyway, this is Natsuki, always full of energy. Really? She seems like she's a sourpuss. And this is Yuri, the smartest in the club. Don't say things like that. Oh boy. Your zombie playlist is most of the Final Fantasy songs, soundtrack to Danganronpa games, and Doki Doki. Hench Toes, I do not fault you for your music selection. I bought the OST for the original Final Fantasy VII. The Danganronpa music is phenomenal. I do love the music. And I am really enjoying this theme right now. I don't know how the other songs are going to turn out, but I can see just getting lost in this music. Don't say things like that. Oh, she's blushing. Yuri, who appears comparably more mature and timid, seems to have a hard time keeping up with people like Sayori and Natsuki. I'm going to forget who these people are, by the way. Well, it's nice to meet both of you. And it sounds like you already know Monica, is that right? That's right. It's great to see you again, Cecil. Monica smiles sweetly. They could be twins. Obviously, Monica has longer hair and green eyes. But Monica and Sayori look like they could be twins. We do know each other. Well, we rarely talked, but we were in the same class last year. Monica was probably the most popular girl in class. Smart, beautiful, athletic. Basically, completely out of my league. Agreed. So having her smile at me so genuinely feels a little... You too, Monica? Come, sit down, Cecil. We made room for you at the table so you can sit next to me or Monica. I'll get the cupcakes. Hey, I made them. I'll get them. Wow, Natsuki getting... Sorry, I got a little too excited. Then how about I make some tea as well? Okay. The girls have a few desks arranged to form a table. As Sayori mentioned, it's been widened so that there is one space next to Monica and one space next to Sayori. Oh, this is going to be my first decision. Natsuki and Yuri walk over to the corner of the room where Natsuki grabs a wrapped tray and Yuri opens the closet. Still feeling awkward, I take a seat next to Sayori. Okay. Natsuki proudly marches back to the table, tray in hand. Okay, are you ready? Ready for what? Ta-da! Wow! Natsuki lifts the foil off the tray to reveal a dozen white fluffy cupcakes decorated to look like little cats. Okay, not my thing, but I'm sure cute. The whiskers are drawn with icing and little pieces of chocolate were used to make ears. Again, I'm sure absolutely adorable. For me, it's always function over fashion. And anybody that watched me play Persona 5 or Persona 5 Royal knows I don't care what a persona looks like. If it kicks ass, I'll use it. So if I need to use Mara, I will use Mara. So cute. I had no idea you were so good at baking, Natsuki. Well, you know. Just hurry and take one. Sayori grabs one first, then Monica, and I follow. It's delicious. Sayori talks with her mouth full and has already managed to get icing on her face. I turn the cupcake around on my fingers, looking for the best angle to take a bite. Natsuki is quiet. She's waiting for me to take a bite to see how they taste. I can't help but notice her sneaking glances in my direction. Is she waiting for me to take a bite? I finally bite down. The icing is sweet and full of flavor. I wonder if she made it herself. This is really good. Thank you, Natsuki. Why are you thanking me? It's not like I... Haven't I heard this somewhere before? Not that I recall. Made them for you or anything. Yeah? I thought you technically did. Sayori said... Oh, fuck. Well, maybe... Natsuki, we just met. Are you got the hots for me or something? But not for you, no. You, dummy. Alright, alright. I give up on Natsuki's weird logic and dismiss the conversation. Yuri returns to the table carrying a tea set. I am not a tea person. I am really not. My wife will drink tea by the bucket. Okay, I shop at BJ's because they have a 3-pack of her tea bags. She'll go through like 6-8 tea bags a day. That's how much tea she drinks. I drink coffee. I can't drink tea. She carefully places the teacup in front of each of us before setting down the teapot next to the cupcake tray. I was hoping this game would be voiced, but apparently not. You keep a whole tea set in this classroom? Don't worry, the teachers gave us permission. After all, doesn't a hot cup of tea help you enjoy a good book? Again, I would prefer coffee. I guess. Don't let yourself get intimidated. Yuri's just trying to impress you. I'm impressed. That's not... Oh, that poor girl. She gets flustered easily. Insulted. Yuri looks away. I mean, I meant that, I believe you. Well, tea and reading might not be a pastime for me, but at least I at least enjoy tea. All right, there's the first lie. I don't enjoy tea. I enjoy cupcakes. I'm glad. Yuri faintly smiles to herself in relief. Monica raises an eyebrow and then smiles at me. So, what made you consider the literature club? Sayori baited me with cupcakes. I was afraid of this question. Something tells me I shouldn't tell Monica that I was practically dragged here by Sayori. Well, I haven't joined any clubs yet, and Sayori seemed really happy here, so... That's okay, don't be embarrassed. We'll make sure you feel right at home, okay? Okay. As president of the literature club, it's my duty to make the club fun and exciting for everyone. Monica, I'm surprised. How come you decided to start your own club? You could probably be a board member for any of the major clubs. Weren't you a leader of the debate club last year? Well, you know. To be honest, I can't stand all the politics around the major clubs. It feels like nothing but arguing about the budget and publicity and how to prepare for events. I'd much rather take something I personally enjoy and make something special out of it. And if it encourages others to get into literature, then I'm fulfilling that dream. Okay. Monica really is a great leader. All right, Sayori. I got you. Yuri also nods in agreement. Then I'm surprised there aren't more people in the club yet. It must be hard to start a new club. You could put it that way. God, I wish this was voiced. Not many people are very interested in putting out all the effort to start something brand new. Especially when it's something that doesn't grab your attention, like literature. I mean, I like to read, but I don't like to write. I have zero creativity. Zero. Again, when I played the original Sims, you know, there are people that'll spend hours, days, weeks designing their house, designing the layout, where stuff goes, where, you know, what walls to put stuff up on. Even in the Sims, you know, the new Sims 4, the new PC game, you know, people spend just so much time designing crap, building crap. Not me. I got the basic shit I needed. I took one of the stock houses, put shit in there that I needed to boost my stats, and that was it. Animal Crossing. I don't do a lot of designing and landscaping in there. I have zero interest in Minecraft, so I am not creative in the least. You have to work hard to convince people that you're both fun and worthwhile. I gotta sneeze. Okay. I'm probably going to have to sneeze again. So, I'll do my best. The talking doesn't help either because it agitates my sinuses. You have to work hard to convince people that you're both fun and worthwhile. But it makes school events like the festival that much more important. I'm confident that we can all really grow this club before we graduate. Right, everyone? Yeah! We'll do our best. You know it. Everyone enthusiastically agrees. Such different girls, all interested in the same goal. Monica must have worked really hard just to find these three. Maybe that's why they're all so delighted by the idea of a new member joining. Though I still don't really know if I can keep up with their level of enthusiasm about literature. So, Cecil, what kinds of things do you like to read? Well, manga probably. Considering how little I've read these past few years, I don't really have a good way of answering that. Manga. Called it. I mutter quietly to myself, half joking. Natsuki's head suddenly perks up. It looks like she wants to say something, but she keeps quiet. Manga is not literature. Not much of a reader, I guess. Why do you keep blushing? Well, that can change. What am I saying? I spoke without thinking after seeing Yuri's sad smile. What is this history? Is this the history of the conversation we've had? Anyway, what about you, Yuri? Yeah. It is. Let me save. Okay. Do I only have a limited number of saves? That's not going to be good. Anyway, what about you, Yuri? Well, let's see. Yuri traces the rim of her teacup with her fingers. My favorites are usually novels that build deep and complex fantasy worlds. I think it's something like a Lord of the Rings type of thing. I could do that. The level of creativity and craftsmanship behind them is amazing to me. I wholeheartedly agree there. You have to create an entire civilization, an entire world, basically, from the ground up. From the landscape to the characters to the the species and all that. That's a lot of work. And telling a good story in such a foreign world is equally impressive. Yuri goes on, clearly passionate about her reading. She seems so reserved and timid since the moment I walked in, but it's obvious by the way her eyes light up that she finds her comfort in the world of books, not people. But I like a lot of things. Stories with deep psychological elements usually immerse me as well. Isn't it amazing how a writer can so deliberately take advantage of your own lack of imagination to completely throw you for a loop? You okay? Anyway, I've been reading a lot of horror lately. And see, that's not for me. I read a horror book once. Yeah, it was my wedding album! I desperately grasp something I can relate to at the minimum level. At this rate, Yuri might as well be having a conversation with a rock. Really? I wouldn't have expected that, Yuri. For someone as gentle as you, I guess you could say that. But if a story makes me think or takes me to another world, then I really can't put it down. Surreal horror is often very successful at changing the way you look at the world, if only for a brief moment. Ugh, I hate horror. Oh, why's that? Well, it's scary. Natsuki's eyes dart over to me for a split second. Never mind. She doesn't want to admit she's weak. She doesn't want to admit she's scared, rather, not weak. That's right. You usually like to write about cute things, don't you, Natsuki? What? What gives you that idea? You left a piece of scrap paper behind last club meeting. It looked like you were working on a poem called Don't Say It Out Loud! And give that back! Fine. Your cupcakes, your poems, everything you do is just as cute as you are. Oh, she's gonna flip her shit. Sayori sidles up behind Natsuki and puts her hands on her shoulders. Hey! 6 feet! Where's your masks? I'm not cute! Natsuki, you wrote your own poems? Well, I guess sometimes. Why do you care? I think that's impressive. And I do too. Again, anybody that can put pen to paper or, writing implement to a surface and create, all the more power to you. Again, that's not me. I can't do it. Why don't you share them sometime? No. Natsuki averts her eyes. You wouldn't like them. Not a very confident writer yet? I understand how Natsuki feels. Sharing that level of writing takes more than just confidence. The truest form of writing is writing into oneself. Okay. You must be willing to open up to your readers, exposing your vulnerabilities and showing even the deepest reaches of your heart. Oh, that can be dangerous. Do Do you have writing experience too, Yuri? Maybe if you share some of your work, you can set an example and help Natsuki. Natsuki feel comfortable enough to share hers. Oh, yeah. Yuri seems like she'll fold at this, she'll fold at the slightest breeze. I guess it's the same for Yuri. Oh, I wanted to read everyone's poems. We all sit in silence for a moment. Okay. I have an idea, everyone. Okay. Natsuki and Yuri look quizzically at Monica. Let's all go home and write a poem of our own. The next time we meet, we'll all share them with each other. Oh, I got homework from this club? What the hell? That way everyone is even. Yeah, let's do it. Plus, now that we have a new member, I think it will help us all get a little more comfortable with each other and strengthen the bond of the club. Wait, whoa, hold on. Who said I was joining this club? Isn't that right, Cecil? Monica smiles warmly at me once again. Oh, again, as tradition, I wolfed down my dinner before stream, so... hold on, there's still one problem. Eh, what's that? My nose is the problem. Now that we're back to the original topic of me joining the club, I bluntly come forth with what's been on my mind the entire time. I never said I would join this club. Sayori may have convinced me to stop by, but I never made any decision. I still have other clubs to look at, and there. Sayori, Yuri, and Monica are going to be like heartbroken. Natsuki's going to be like, get the hell out of here. I lose my train of thought. Yep, see? Those three are disappointed. Natsuki's like, fuck you, get the fuck out. All four girls stare back at me with dejected eyes. But... I'm sorry, I thought... Cecil? You all... I'm defenseless against these girls. Oh my goodness. Oh, that'd be a lot of heartbreaking. How am I supposed to make a clear-headed decision when it's like this? That is, if writing poems is the price I need to pay in order to spend every day with these beautiful girls. Oh, come on now. Right. Okay, I've decided then. I'll join the literature club. One by one, the girls' eyes light up. Yes, I'm so happy. Sayori wraps her arms around me, jumping up and down. Hey! You really did scare me for a moment. If you really just came for the cupcakes, I would be super pissed. Well, technically, that's really all I came for is the cupcakes. Then that makes it official. Welcome to the literature club. Thanks, I guess. Okay, everyone. I think with that, we can officially end today's meeting on a good note. Everyone remember tonight's assignment. Write a poem to bring to the next meeting so we can all share it. Now, do I actually have to write a poem? Or are they going to give me, like, scripted lines and I got to pick? Monica looks over at me once more. Cecil, I look forward to seeing how you express yourself. Yeah. Can I really impress the class star Monica with my mediocre writing skills? I already feel the anxiety welling up inside me. Meanwhile, the girls continue to chit-chat as Yuri and Natsuki clean up their food. Hey, Cecil, since we're already here, do you want to walk home together? Oh boy, I'm going to get suckered in. That's right, Sayori and I never walk home together anymore because she always stays after school for clubs. Sure, might as well. Yay! Oh, man. If I have to break these girls' hearts, it's going to hurt. With that, the two of us depart the club room and make our way home. The whole way, my mind wanders back and forth between the four girls. Sayori. Natsuki. Yuri. And Monica. Oh, and of course, Monica. Will I really be happy spending every day after school in a literature club? Perhaps I'll have the chance to grow closer to one of these girls. Oh my god. Is that what happens? Do I grow close to one girl and then like one of the other three gets so dejected they commit suicide or something? Ooh, that's gonna hurt. All right. I'll just need to make the most of my circumstances, and I'm sure good fortune will find me. And I guess that starts with writing a poem tonight. Oh boy. I hope I just have to pick lines. It's time to write a poem. Pick words you think your favorite club member will like. Something good might happen with whoever likes your poem the most. So in other words, I have to try and impress Sayuri, Natsuki, Yuri, or Monica. I do like girls with purple hair, so I may go for Yuri. Yeah, Yuri. It's freaking bug. Okay. I'm going to use my mouse for this. Let me save. No. Okay. Well, let's see. I'm going to go secretive. I have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm going to go secretive. Do the girls' faces change if I pick a word that they like? Sudden sneeze and nose blow. Oh. Okay. So, secretive. I'm going to go tenacious. Oh, it does. The girl who likes it the most jumps. We're going to go adventure. Achievement unlocked. Doki Doki Poetry Slam. Okay. Adventure. Oh, it's her. Boop. Extraordinary. Oh, damn, it's her again. Fantasy. Oh, okay, her. All the background colors look the same. Waterfall? Damn, her again. Journey. Oh, good, her. Disaster? Okay, her again. Okay. Ooh, graveyard. Yeah! 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 She likes fantasy and horror. Whirlwind, vanilla, intellectual, whistle, pleasure, ambient. Ooh, ambient. Imagination? Her again. Oh, I'm doing kick-ass with Yuri. Tears, hopeless. Holiday. We'll go hopeless. It's not. I don't think it's hope. I don't think it's her, but I'm going hopeless. Yeah. Covet, bunny, ribbon, star, escape memories, tragedy, giggle, shame. Tragedy? Oh, damn, it's her again. freaking little bug is getting in my way. Uncontrollable? All right, got her again. I'm sure there's a guide out there somewhere that says what words you should pick to max your affinity to one of these characters. Anxiety. Oh, yeah. Oh, got her again. What about determination or fear? We'll go fear. Oh, wrong one. Should have went determination. Damn it. Disarray? All right. Summer, Inferno. Oh, Inferno. Yeah. Her again. Crimson. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, baby. Wonder if electricity. Yes! Excellent. Hi again, Cecil. Glad to see you didn't run away on us. Nah, don't worry. This might be a little strange for you, but I at least kept my word. Well, I'm back at the literature club. I was the last to come in, so everyone else is already hanging out. Thanks for keeping your promise, Cecil. Sure, Yuri. I hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you. Making you dive headfirst into literature when you're not accustomed to it. I do like girls with long purple hair. Oh, come on, like he deserves any slack. Sayori told me you didn't even want to join any clubs this year. And last year, too. I don't know if you plan to just come here and hang out or what. Well, you keep the cupcakes coming, I'll come back. But if you don't take us seriously, then you won't see the end of it. Yes, dear. Natsuki, you certainly have a big mouth for someone who keeps her manga collection in the club room. Okay, well, she likes manga. Natsuki finds herself... Oh, boy. Natsuki finds herself stuck between Monica and manga. Manga is literature. Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plops back into her seat. Don't worry, guys. Cecil always gives it his best as long as he's having fun. He helps me with busy work without me even asking. Like cooking, cleaning my room. How dependable. Sayori, that's because your room is so messy, it's distracting. What are we doing in her room to begin with? Why don't we take a couple steps back? What are we doing in her room to begin with? And you almost set your house on fire once. Is that so? You two are really good friends, aren't you? I might be a little jealous. You're fine, Yuri. How come? You and Cecil can become good friends, too. Oh, hello. Yeah, she is very shy and reserved. Sayori? As usual, Sayori seems oblivious to the weird situation she just put me into. Oh, Yuri even brought you something today, you know. Wait, Sayori? Huh? Me? Not really. Don't be shy. It's really nothing. What is it? Never mind. Oh, come on. Sayori made it sound like a big deal when it's really not. What do I do? I'm sorry, Yuri. I wasn't thinking. I guess it means it's up to me to rescue this situation. Hey, don't worry about it. First of all, I wasn't expecting anything in the first place. So any nice gesture from you is a pleasant surprise. It'll make me happy no matter what. Is that so? Yeah. I won't make it a big deal if you don't want it to be. All right. Well, here. Yuri reaches into her bag and pulls out a book. I didn't want you to feel left out. So I picked out a book that I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention even if you don't usually read. And we could, discuss it if you wanted. How is this gift accidentally being so cute? She even picked out a book she thinks I'll like, despite me not reading much. Yuri, thank you. I'll definitely read this. I enthusiastically take the book. Whew. Well, you can read it at your own pace. I look forward to hearing what you think. Now that everyone's settled in, I expected Monica to kick off some scheduled activities for the club. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Sayori and Monica are having a cheery conversation in the corner. Yuri's face is already buried in a book. I can't help but notice her intense expression, like she was waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuki is rummaging around in the closet. I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a little bit more. But at the same time, I would feel bad for distracting her from her reading. I catch a glimpse of the cover of her book. It looks like the same book that she lent to me. More than that, she seems to be on the first few pages. Why does this music not fit the situation? Crap. I think she noticed me looking at her. She sneaks another glance at me, and our eyes meet for a split second. But that only makes her hide her face deeper in her book. Sorry? I was just spacing out. I mutter this, sensing I made her uncomfortable. Oh? It's fine. If I was focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed in the first place. But I'm just rereading a bit of this, so... That's the book you gave me, right? Hmm? I wanted to reread some of it. Not for any particular reason. Yeah, bullshit. Just curious, how come you have 2 copies of the same book? Well, when I stopped at the bookstore yesterday... that's not what I meant. I mean, I just happened to buy 2 of them. No, you didn't. I see. There's something fairly obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decided to let it go. I'll definitely start reading it soon. I'm glad to hear. Once it starts to pick up, you might have a hard time putting it down. It's a very engaging and relatable story. Is that so? What's it about, anyway? Well... Yuri closes the book and scans her eyes over the back. The book is titled Portrait of Markov. There's an ominous-looking eye symbol on the front cover. Alright. I just wanted to make sure I don't accidentally give anything away. Basically, it's about this girl in high school who moves in with her long-lost younger sister. Okay. But as soon as she does so, her life gets really strange. She gets targeted by these people who escaped from a human experiment prison. Whoa! This is getting fucking trippy. And while her life is in danger, she needs to desperately choose who to trust. No matter what she does, she ends up destroying most of her relationships and her life starts to fall apart. That's kind of dark, isn't it? Yuri made it sound like it was going to be a nice story, so that dark turn came from nowhere. Yuri gently giggles all of a sudden. Are you not a fan of that sort of thing, Cecil? No, it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy those kinds of stories, so don't worry. I hope so. Yeah, I totally forgot that Yuri is into those things. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different. It's just that those kinds of stories, they challenge you to look at life from a strange new perspective. When horrible things happen, not just because someone wants to be evil, but because they have their own goals or their own philosophy that they believe in. Then suddenly, when you thought you related to the protagonist, they're made out to be the naive one for letting their one-sided morals interfere with the villain's plans. I'm rambling, aren't I? Not again. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. I haven't lost interest or anything. Well, I guess it's alright then. But I feel like I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like books and writing fill my thoughts, I kind of forget to pay attention to other people. So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. And please stop me if I start talking too much. I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. The least I can do is listen. It's a literature club after all. That's... Well, that's true. In fact, I might as well get started reading it, right? You don't have to. What are you saying? Just a moment ago, you said you were looking forward to it. Let me just get the book. I quickly retrieved the book that I had put into my bag. All right. It's fine if I sit here, right? I slip into the seat next to Yuri's. Oh, yeah. I don't think she expected this. Yeah. You sure? You seem a little apprehensive. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to. It's just something I'm not very used to. That is, reading in company with someone. I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything. All right. I open the book and start the prologue. I soon understand what Yuri means about reading in company. It's as if I can feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not a particularly bad thing. Maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat... Oh, this little fly is going to bug the hell out of me. Maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri is in the corner of my eye. I realize that she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. It looks like she's reading from my book instead. I think Yuri has taken a liking to us already. Sorry. I was just... Yuri, you really apologize a lot, don't you? I do? I don't really mean to. There's another apology. Sorry. Well, I mean... Here. This should work, right? I slide my desk until it's against Yuri's and then hold my book more between the two of them. I suppose so. Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we each lean in a little bit, our shoulders are almost touching. It feels like my left arm is in the way, so instead I use my right hand to hold the book open. I guess it makes it kind of difficult to turn the pages. Here. Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefinger. I do the same with my right arm on the right side of the book. That way, I turn a page and Yuri slides it under her thumb after it flips to her side. Purple hair and violet eyes. But in holding it like this, we're huddled even closer together than before. Oh, wow! We're barely in the club a day. We've already got a girl roped in. It's actually kind of distracting me. It's as if I can feel the warmth of Yuri's face, and she's in the corner of my vision. You ready? Turn the page. Sorry. I think I got a bit distracted for a second. I glance over at Yuri's face again, and our eyes meet. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her. That's okay. You're not as used to reading, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a bit longer. It's probably the least I can do. Since you've been so patient with me. Oh, look at the smile on her face. Yeah. Thanks. We continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, I just assume that she finishes the page before me, so I turn it by my own volition. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her own thumb. Hey, Yuri? This might be a silly thought, but the main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit. You think so? I love the little subtle, her eye. The little subtle move of her eye over. You think so? How does she? Well, I guess she's more blunt in a lot of ways, but she also second guesses all of the things she says and does. Like she's afraid she'll do something wrong. It's not like I can see into your head or anything, but they're kind of reminiscent of some of your mannerisms. My God. I really wish this was voiced. I feel like I'm doing Persona 5 Vanilla all over again. and reading everything. Oh, man. I see. Yuri remained silent for a moment. But Cecil, that's probably a terrible thing to have in common with her. That's so embarrassing that you didn't think that you'd think that. But wait, I didn't mean it in a bad way or anything. My nose. Yeah, this is going to be rough, reading it with my sinuses. Oh, I didn't mean it in a bad way or anything. Sorry, I really didn't know you were self-conscious about that sort of thing. I guess I more meant that it's kind of cute. Haha, oh yeah, she liked that. What are you saying all of a sudden? Okay, everyone. Oh, hi, Monica. I think it's about time we share today's poems with each other. Oh, Christ. We might not have enough time if we wait too long. Yuri exhales, spared from finishing her thought. Is that alright, Yuri? You look kind of down. I'm sorry if you haven't been looking forward to this. It's not... Oh, it's going to bug the hell out of me because it's flying right in my face. It's fine. Yuri releases her hand from the book, causing it to close on top of my thumb. All right. I guess I'll do some more reading tonight. Or would you prefer I only read it with you? I guess I don't have too much of a preference either way. In that case, I'll read a little more tonight. It'll be more fun to read with you after it picks up a bit, you know? That's good reasoning. In that case, feel free to finish the first 2 chapters in your own time. Alright. I stand up. I make a mental note of where I left off in the book and then slip it back into my bag. By the way, did you remember to write a poem last night? I don't know if I wrote a poem, but I clicked some words. Yeah. My relaxation ends. I can't believe I agreed to do something so embarrassing. I couldn't really find much inspiration since I've never really done this before. Well, now that everyone's ready, why don't you find someone to share with? I can't wait! Oh, Sayori, I forgot you were here. Sayori and Monica enthusiastically pull out their poems. Sayori's is on a wrinkled sheet of loose leaf torn from a spiral notebook. It looks like she hastily threw it together and then ripped it out of her notebook. On the other hand, Monica wrote hers in a composition notebook. I can already see Monica's pristine handwriting from where I sit. Natsuki and Yuri reluctantly comply as well, reaching into their bags. I do the same myself. Who should I show my poem to first? Well, it has to be Yuri. Yeah, that's not going to work. Yuri seems the most experienced, so I should start with her. I can trust her opinion to be fair. As Yuri reads the poem, I notice her eyes lighten. Exceptional. What was that? I figured it would be because she's the one that cheered, her little icon cheered the most as I was clicking words. Did I say that out loud? Yuri first covers her mouth, but then ends up covering her whole face. He's going to hate me. You really didn't do anything. You really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri. That's. I guess you're right. What am I getting so nervous for? Yuri takes a breath. So, what kind of writing experience do you have? Your use of imagery and metaphors indicates you've written a lot of poetry before. No, I was just trying to pick words I think you'd like. Really? Wow, that's a huge compliment coming from you. This is actually my first time, really. Huh? Yuri stares at me blankly, then looks at my poem again. Well, I know that. I just mean, Yuri trails off, unable to find an excuse. She traces her finger along the words of the poem as if breaking it down one more thoroughly. Yeah. Okay. This is the reason I was able to tell. It's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers. And having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them. Okay. I think the most noticeable thing I recognize in new writers is that they try to make their style very deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter, and they form-fit the two together. The end result is that both the styles and the expressiveness are weakened. What are you talking about? Almost every word I picked you liked. Once Yuri finds her train of thought, it's as if her demeanor totally changes. Her stammering is completely gone and she sounds like an expert. Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. There are so many different skills and techniques that go into writing even a simple poem. Not just finding them and building them, but getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it all comes with practice and learning by example and trying new things. I also hope that everyone else at the club gives you valuable feedback. Natsuki can be a little biased, though. Biased? How? Well, never mind. I shouldn't be talking about people like that. Sorry. It's fine. I'm not sure if Yuri is apologizing to herself or to me or to Natsuki. Do you mind if I read your poem now? Please do. I'd love to share my thought process behind it. Yuri smiles dreamily as if that's a rare opportunity for her, which itself is kind of funny. After all, isn't this supposed to be a literature club? Ghost under the light. The tendrils of my hair illuminate beneath the amber glow. Bathing. It must be this one. The last remaining street lights to have withstood the test of time. The last yet to be replaced by the sickening blue-green hue of the future. I bathe. Calm, breathing air of the present, but living in the past. The light flickers. I flicker back. Okay. I'm sorry I have such terrible handwriting. Actually, no, it was very nice. What? I wasn't thinking that at all. But it took you a long time to read. Ah. Well, I just don't read script very often. I actually think your handwriting is pretty. Eh? That's a relief. Also, I like the poem. Even though it's short, it was really descriptive. It wasn't too short. You usually write longer poems. Not at all. I'm really glad you like it. I'll be honest. Since it's our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild. Something easy to digest, I suppose. Are you into ghosts, Yuri? Actually, the story isn't about a ghost at all, Cecil. Really? I must have totally missed the point. Well, I suppose you did only glance over it after all. But remember that poets often express their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences in their work. They usually do more than tell a simple story or paint a picture. In this case, perhaps the subject of the poem is only being symbolically compared to a ghost. Lingering in her last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past. Did she have some shit go down in her past? And soon to be left with nothing. That's a lot more solemn putting it that way. I hadn't even thought of that. That's impressive. Eh? It's nothing, really. Yours is impressive too, so... Nah. If anything, I could probably learn a thing or two from you. You think so? Yeah, of course. You know, I was really nervous about doing all this. But in the end, I enjoyed it. I'm going to keep doing my best for you, Cecil. Me too. Who should I show my poem to next? I think Sayori and Natsuki bounced up and down a bit. We'll go to Monica last. This is a good poem, Cecil. Are you sure it's your first time? Of course. It's not that good. Am I the kind of guy who would be writing poems in his spare time? Yeah, I guess you're right. But that's why it's impressed me. Well, to be honest, I was afraid that you wouldn't do it seriously. Or that you wouldn't write one at all. I'm really happy just that you wrote one. It just reminds me of how you're really a part of the club now. Not to mention the fact that I'm standing in front of you in the club room. Ugh, I have to lean back a bit. Well, of course, I'm not really into it yet, but that doesn't mean I'll break my promise. See? It's like I said before, Cecil. Deep down, you're not selfish at all, you know? Trying new things like this for other people, that's something that only really good people do. Thanks, Sayori. I'm not sure if Sayori sees the full picture of my motives here. Then again, I can't deny that she's part of the reason I joined. Knowing how much this meant to her and all. Yeah, and I'm going to make sure you have lots of fun here, okay? That will be my way of thanking you. Okay. Alright, I'm going to hold you to that then. Yay! Now you'll read my poem too, right? Don't worry, I'm really bad at this. We'll see about that. Dear Sunshine, the way you glow through my blinds in the morning, it makes me feel like you miss me. Kissing my forehead to help me out of bed, making me rub the sleepy from my eyes. Are you asking me to come out and play? Are you trusting me to wish away a rainy day? I look above, the sky is blue. It's a secret, but I trust you too. If it wasn't for you, I could sleep forever. But I'm not mad. I want breakfast. Sayori? This is just a guess, but did you wait until this morning to write this? No. It's just a little bit. You can't answer just a little bit to a yes or no question. I forgot to do it last night. Well, at least that makes me feel a little better about myself. Don't be mean. I still tried my best. Yeah. I didn't mean to say that it wasn't a bad poem. It came out nice, or how should I put it? It sounds just like you. Really? Yeah. Especially that last line. I want breakfast. I made eggs and toast. Even though you were late to school? It's bad to skip breakfast. I get all cranky. Well, I guess there's no point in arguing. Anyway, thanks for showing me. This was so much fun. Monica's the best. Yeah. But next time I won't forget. And I'm going to write the best poem ever. Well, I guess I look forward to it. Alright. Natsuki. Cecil, if you're not going to take this club seriously, then go home. What? Harsh. What do you expect me to believe? What, you expect me to believe that you actually put effort into this? Do you think I'm stupid? I'm not a writer. Maybe it's not very good, but yeah, I did put in effort. We all start somewhere, right? If you're still proud of the first poem you ever wrote, then I'd like to read it. Painful to think about? Fine. Well, sorry. You'll get better anyway. I'll tell you what to improve, but you're better off just trying again. Yeah, because I didn't put a lot of stuff in there that you liked. I put a lot of stuff in there that Yuri liked. That was my point. Fair enough. Well, to each their own, I guess. Anyway, I guess I gotta share mine now. Knowing you'll probably think it's stupid. Eagles can... You have that beautiful tune, then it gets reduced to like kids' toys. Eagles can fly, monkeys can climb, crickets can leap, horses can race. Owls can seek, cheetahs can run. Eagles can fly, people can try, but that's about it. That is an interesting poem. I will say that. Yeah. I told you that you weren't going to like it. I like it. What? Just be honest. I am. Why are you so convinced that I wouldn't like it? Well, because everyone in high school thinks that writing has to be all sophisticated and stuff. So people don't even take my writing seriously. But isn't the point of poems for people to express themselves? Your writing style wouldn't make your message any less valid. Yes, exactly. I like when it's easy to read, but it hits you hard. Like in this poem. Seeing everyone around you do great things can be really disheartening. So I decided to write about it. Yeah, I understand. But the other nice thing about simple writing is that it puts more weight on the wordplay. Like I set up for a rhyme at the end, but then made it fall flat on purpose. It helps bring out the feeling in the last line. So you did. I guess more went to it than I realized. That's what it means to be a pro. I'm glad you learned something. Didn't expect that from the youngest one here, did you? Yeah, I guess not. I decided to humor her with that last comment. I don't really care how old everyone is, but if Natsuki is feeling proud, then I won't take that away from her. Alright, now Monica. Hi, Cecil. Having a good time so far? Yeah. Good, glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new and everything, if you ever have any suggestions for the club, like new activities or things we can do better, I'm always listening. Don't be afraid to bring things up, okay? Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Of course, I'll be afraid to bring this up, or bring things up. I'm much better off just going with the flow until I'm more settled in. Anyway, want to share your poem with me? It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I have to. Don't worry, Cecil. We're all a little embarrassed today, you know? I'm going to have to bring in a lot of water for this. I feel like I'm back with my kids when they were younger, reading books to them. Oh my goodness. Let me take a quick break here. I'm going to see if Stream Raiders is back up and running. At least we can get that going. Boom. Well, it's starting. Let's see if it stays started. I do like the music. I do like this music. Okay. Well, we are up. Oh, I gotta buy those, that's right. Let me shut the sound effects off. So far, it's working, so. So let me set these up for, do I have any quests? System healing, okay. Let me set this up. And then, where's my rogue? There it is. Okay. Let's see how well this works. It'll take a little bit to boot. Keep playing. That's right, we were going after this boss. Any good scrolls? Let's see what we can do. Oh, Jesus. Alrighty, we're going to throw my berserker in there. Alright, ladies and gents, boys and girls, and everyone in between. Stream Raiders is up. The stage is set. Get your fighters in the field. It is clobbering time. All right. We're all a little embarrassed today, you know? But it's that sort of barrier that we'll all learn to get past soon. Yeah, that's true. A hand monic on my poem. Great job, Cecil. I was going, ooh, in my head while reading it. It's really metaphorical. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I guess I underestimated you. It's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way it'll always count when I put in some effort. Haha, that's not very fair. Well, I guess it worked anyway. You know that Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? I do. Writing that's full of imagery and symbolism. Unlike Sayori, who likes using simple and direct words to describe happiness and sadness. That's right. Yuri metaphors and symbolism. And Sayori, simple and direct. Yuri likes it when readers are left to derive their own meaning out of it. It's very challenging to write like that effectively, both allowing people to get something out of it just by feel, or letting them deeply analyze all of their nuances. It can take years of practice, which I'm assuming Yuri has at this point. I never really asked, though. I'm sure I'm nowhere near her level yet. Don't worry so much about that. You do your own thing. Just keep exploring and learning by trying new things. I'm sure I'll end up trying different things a lot. Yeah, because I think obviously Yuri cheered the most with the words I selected. I think Sayori was the next closest, because I think Natsuki I only hit like once or twice. It could take a while before I feel comfortable doing this. That's okay. I'd love to see you try new things. That's the best way to find the kind of style that suits you. Everyone else might be a little bit biased toward their own kind of styles, but I'll always help you find what suits you the most. So don't force yourself to write the way everyone else wants you to write. It's not like you have to worry about impressing them or anything. Oh, I think that's a lie. Ha ha ha. Yeah. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good. You sound pretty confident for someone who claims you to not be very good. Well, that's because I have to sound confident. Doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know. I see. Well, let's read it then. Hole and wall. It couldn't have been me. See the direction the spackle protrudes? A noisy neighbor? An angry boyfriend? I'll never know. I wasn't home. I peer inside for a clue. No, I can't see. I reel, blind, like a film left out in the sun. But it's too late. My retinas already scorched with a permanent copy of the meaningless image. There's just a little hole. It wasn't too bright. It was too deep, stretching forever into everything. A hole of infinite choices. I realized now that I wasn't looking in. I was looking out. And he, on the other side, was looking in. Okay, this hits me in a couple creepy ways. So, what do you think? It's very freeform, if that's what you call it. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback. That's okay. Yeah, that kind of style has gotten pretty popular nowadays. That is, a lot of poems have been putting emphasis on the timing between words and lines. When performed out loud, it can be really powerful. What was the inspiration behind this one? Well, I'm not sure if I know how to put this. I guess you could say that I had some kind of epiphany recently. Yeah, it sounds kind of scary. It's been influencing my poems a bit. An epiphany? Yeah, something like that. I'm kind of nervous to talk about deep stuff like that because it's kind of coming on strongly. Maybe after everyone is better friends with each other. Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you're writing a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. If you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. Just force yourself to get something down on the paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dark puddle of ink. Just move your hand and go with the flow. That's my advice for today. Okay, go with the flow. Thanks for listening. Whew. I guess that's everyone. I glanced around the room. That was a little more stressful than I anticipated. It's as if everyone is judging me for my mediocre writing abilities. Even if they're just being nice, there's no way my poems can stand up to theirs. This is a literature club after all. I sigh. I guess that's what I ended up getting myself into. Across the room, Sayori and Monica are happily chatting. My eyes land on Yuri and Natsuki. They gingerly exchange sheets of paper, sharing their respective poems. As they read in tandem, I watch each of their expressions change. Natsuki's eyebrows furrow in frustration. Meanwhile, Yuri smiles sadly. What's with this language? Eh? Did you say something? Oh, it's nothing. Natsuki dismissively returns the poem to the desk with one hand. I guess you could say it's fancy. Thanks. Yours is cute. Cute? Did you completely miss the symbolism or something? That's clearly about the feelings of giving up. How could that be cute? I know that. I just meant the language, I guess. I was trying to say something nice. Eh? You mean you have to try that hard to come up with something nice to say? Natsuki is a pistol. Thanks, but it really didn't come out nice at all. Well, I do have a couple suggestions. Yeah, she ain't gonna take them. If I was looking for suggestions, I would have asked someone who actually liked it. Which people did, by the way. Sayori liked it. And Cecil did too. So based on that, I'll gladly give you some suggestions of my own. First of all, excuse me, I appreciate the offer, but I've spent a long time establishing my writing style. I don't expect it to change anytime soon, unless of course I come across something particularly inspiring. Which I haven't yet. And Cecil liked my poem too, you know. Oh god, I'm being dragged into the middle. He even told me he was impressed by it. Natsuki suddenly stands up. Oh, fuck. Oh, we're going to be dragged into a catfight, aren't we? Oh? I didn't realize you were so invested in trying to impress our new member, Yuri. Eh? Oh, Christ. This sounds like a circus theme, which is what this is. It's a circus. That's not what I... You're just... Yuri stands up as well. Maybe you're just jealous that Cecil appreciates my advice more than he appreciates yours. Don't drag me into this. Huh? And how do you know he didn't appreciate my advice more? Are you that full of yourself? What the fuck is going on? I've been in here one day and they're already fighting because of me. Or over me. What the fuck? No, if I was full of myself, I would deliberately go out of my way to make everything I do overly cutesy. Is everyone okay? Well, you know what? I wasn't the one whose boobs magically grew a size bigger as soon as Cecil started showing up. What the fuck? Where's my paper? Oh, here it is. the fuck is going on? Now they're yelling about boob size? Natsuki! Natsuki, that's a little... This doesn't involve you. I don't like fighting, guys. Suddenly, both girls turned towards me as if they just noticed I was standing there. Cecil? She's just trying to make me look bad. That's not true. She started it. If she could get over herself and learn to appreciate that simple writing is more effective, then this wouldn't have happened in the first place. What's the point in making your poems all convoluted for no reasons? The meaning should jump out at the reader, not force them to have to figure it out. Help me explain that to her, Cecil. But wait! There's a reason we have so many deep and expressive words in our language. It's the only way to convey complex feelings and meaning the most effectively. Avoiding them is not only unnecessarily limiting yourself, it's also a waste. You understand that, right, Cecil? Why are you dragging me into this? Well? How did I get dragged into this in the first place? It's not like I know anything about writing, but whomever I agree with, they'll probably think more highly of me. So, of course... I am fucked. My God. My God. Fucking wrong buttons. What am I supposed to do here? I'm going to piss somebody off. If I pick Natsuki, Yuri's going to be upset. If I pick Yuri, Natsuki's going to be upset. If I ask Sayori to help, they're both going to get pissed at me. I made my decision. I like purple hair and purple eyes. Wait. Wrong one, this one. Hold on. I didn't agree with Natsuki. Oh, I was on the wrong screen. You're right that I liked your poem. See? Wait. That's not an excuse for you to be so mean. You shouldn't pick a fight just because someone's opinion is different. That's not what happened at all. Yuri wouldn't even take my poem seriously. I understand. Yuri? Eh? You're a seriously talented writer. It's no secret that I was impressed. Well, But here's the thing. No matter how simple or refined someone's writing style is, they're still putting feelings into it, and it becomes something really personal. That's why Natsuki felt threatened when you said her poem was cute. I see. I didn't notice that I'm sorry. But Natsuki, you took it way too far. Yuri means well, and if you just told her how you felt, then this wouldn't have happened in the first place. Are you kidding? That's exactly what I did. It was her that... Natsuki, I think that's enough. You both said some things that you didn't mean. Yuri apologized. Don't you think you should too? Natsuki clenched her fists. In the end, nobody has taken her side. Oh, I did pick Yuri. Okay. She's trapped at this point, being defiant only because she can't handle the pressure. I end up even feeling bad for her. Sometimes when I'm hurt, it helps to take a walk and clear my head. Sayori, she doesn't need to... You know what? I'm going to do that. It'll spare me from having to look at all your faces right now. Without warning, Natsuki snatches her own poem up from the desk and storms out. Okay, so I did pick Yuri. On her way out, she crumples up the poem with her hands and throws it in the trash. Natsuki. She really didn't need to do that. I look across the room. Yuri has her chin buried in her hands while she stares down at her desk. I gingerly approach her and sit in an adjacent chair. Everything all right? I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe I acted like that. You probably hate me now. No, Yuri. How could anyone not have gotten frustrated after being treated like that? You handled it as well as anyone could. I don't think any less of you. Well, all right, I believe you. Thanks, Cecil. You're too kind. I'm thankful to have you as part of this club now. It's nothing. One more thing. That one thing that Natsuki said about, you know, my boobs. I would never do anything so shameful. So, what thing did Natsuki say? Well, never mind that. I'm gonna go make some tea. Ah, good idea. Make enough for more than one person, okay? Yeah. Oh, alright. That was my first butterfly effect choice. Okay, everyone. It's just about time for us to leave. How did you all feel about sharing poems? It was a lot of fun. Well, I'd say it was worth it. It was alright. Well, mostly. Cecil, how about you? Yeah, I'd say the same. It was a neat thing to talk about with everyone. Awesome. In that case, we'll do the same thing tomorrow. Then maybe you'll learn something from your friends too. So your poems will turn out even better. I think to myself, I did learn a little more about the kinds of poems everyone likes. With any luck, that means I can at least do a better job impressing those I want to impress. I nod to myself with newfound determination. Cecil, ready to walk home? Sure, let's go. Hee Sayori beams at me. It truly has been a while since Sayori and I have spent this much time together. Can't really say I'm not enjoying it either. Sayori, about what happened earlier? What do you mean? You know, between Yuri and Natsuki? Does that kind of thing happen often? No. That's really the first time I've seen them fight like that. I promise they're both wonderful people. You don't hate them, do you? No, I don't hate them. I just wanted your opinion, that's all. I can see why they'd make good friends with you. Whew. You know, Cecil, it's nice that I get to spend time with you in the club. But I think seeing you get along with everyone is what makes me the happiest. And I think everyone really likes you too. That's... Hey, every day is going to be so much fun. Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of drama. Looks like Sayori still hasn't caught on to the kind of situation I'm in. Sure, being friends with everyone is nice, but does it really need to stop there? Well, just have to see what the future holds, Sayori. I pat Sayori on the shoulder. I said that more to myself than to her, but it's easy to use Sayori as an internal monologue sometimes. Okay. Yeah, let's do this. I gotta write more poems? Alright, I'm saving again. Alright. Metaphors and symbolism. Hope? No, sorry. Anxiety? There we go. Universe? Nature? Yeah. Damn it. Horror, that's an easy one. Crimson. Secretive. I think these are the same words, just in different places. Hopeless. Oh, damn it. Agonizing. Inferno. Excitement. Damn it. Vibrant. I'm going to have to write down the words that she likes. Sadness? Nope. Philosophy? Imagination. That was an easy one. Grief? Nope, wrong one. Okay. Frightening. Vivacious? Yeah, I'm going to have to write these words down so I know which one she likes. Determination? Yep. Okay. Tenacious. All right. Once again, I got mostly more of Yuri's. I'm going to have to write down the words that she likes. Another day passes. It's time for the club's meeting already. I've gotten a little more comfortable here over the past couple days. Entering the club room, the usual scene greets me. Hi, Cecil. Yo, Sayori. Looks like you're in a good mood today. I'm just still not used to you being in the club, that's all. I see. It's a pretty simple thing to get you in a good mood. But I guess it's always the simple things with you all anyway. Speaking of which, I'm kind of hungry. Will you come with me to buy a snack? No thanks. Eh? That's not like you at all. I have my reasons. Why don't we take a look at your purse, Sayori? Oh boy. Eh? Why that all of a sudden? Probably because she's broke and she wants me to pay for it. No reason, really. I just wanted to look at it. Sayori nervously retrieves her coin purse. She fumbles with the latch and gets it open. Then she turns it upside down and lets its contents spill onto the desk. Only 2 small coins fall out. I knew it. I can see right through you, Sayori. That's not fair. That's not fair. How did you even know? It's simple. If you had enough money in the first place, you would have bought a snack before coming to the club room. So either you're not hungry and wanted an excuse to take a walk, or you plan to conveniently forget that you spent all your money so that I would lend you some. But there's one more thing. You're always hungry. And so that only leaves the one option. I give up. Don't make me feel guilty. If you feel guilty, that means you deserve to feel guilty. Yuri suddenly giggles. Eh? I didn't notice that she was listening in. Her face is in her book as always. I wasn't listening or anything. I was just something in my book. No, nothing in that book is funny. Nothing in that book is funny. Yuri, tell Cecil to let me borrow some money. Don't get me involved like that, Sayori. Besides, you should only buy what you can responsibly afford. And frankly, after pulling a mischievous little stunt like that, your suffering is fair enough retribution. I didn't mean that. I got too absorbed into my book. I really like when you speak your mind, Yuri. Doesn't happen much, but it's a fun side of you. There's no way you could think that. You were right, though. I did something bad, and now I have to accept the revolution. Retribution. That. Still, coming from you, Sayori. I guess there's a little devil inside all of us, isn't there? Hehehe. Don't let her fool you. Sayori knows exactly what she's doing. After all, she told you guys she was bringing me to the club before she even told me. But you wouldn't have come if it weren't for the cupcakes. So I had to trick Natsuki into making... Oh, she even played Natsuki. Oh, that's not going to go over well. Come on, give me more credit than that, Sayori. Out of nowhere, something smacks Sayori in the face. Something smacks Sayori in the face and tumbles onto the desk. I think Natsuki just threw a piece of paper at her. What? Ow. What was... Eh? A cookie? Oh, Natsuki made cookies. Sure enough, it's a giant cookie wrapped in plastic. Sayori glances around. Is this a miracle? It's because I paid my restitution? Retribution. Actually, that one almost worked. Yeah, it was Natsuki. I was just going to give it to you, but then I heard you blab about the cupcakes. It was totally worth seeing your reaction, though. Natsuki? That's so nice of you. I'm so happy. She got hit in the face with a cookie. She's happy. That's not exactly what Natsuki wanted, I'm sure. Sayori hugs the cookie. Jeez, just eat it. Sayori rapidly tears open the wrapper and takes a big bite. So good. Sayori suddenly claps her hands over her mouth. I bit my tongue. You're going through a lot over just one cookie. Natsuki takes a bite of her own cookie. Yours look really good too, Natsuki. Can I try it? Jeez. Beggars can't be choosers. But yours is chocolate. Yeah? Why do you think I gave you that one? Fine. Still, I'm pretty happy that you shared this one with me. Sayori gets out of her seat and goes behind Natsuki, then wraps her arms around her. Okay. Jeez. I get it. Cookie still in hand, Natsuki reaches up to nudge Sayori off her. Ooh. Sayori suddenly leans down and takes a bite out of Natsuki's cookie. She had an ulterior motive. Hey! Did you seriously just do that? Oh, mouthful, Sayori trots away to safety. Okay, that was hilarious. Yuri and I laugh as well. Jeez, you're such a kid sometimes. Monica, can you tell Sayori? Eh? Natsuki glances around. Monica isn't in the club room. Ugh. Where's Monica anyway? Good question. Have any of you heard anything about her being late today? Not me. Yeah, I haven't either. That's a bit unusual. I hope she's okay. Of course she's okay. She's probably just had something to do today. She's pretty popular after all. Yeah? You don't think she has a... Haha, I wouldn't be surprised. She's probably more desirable than all of us combined. Yeah, that's true. Excuse me? Suddenly the door swings open. Sorry, I'm super sorry. There you are. I didn't mean to be late. I hope you guys weren't worried or anything. Eh? Monica chose the club over her boyfriend after all. You're so strong-willed. Boyfriend? What on earth are you talking about? Monica quizzically glances at me. Never mind that. What held you up anyway? Well, my last period today was study hall. To be honest, I kind of just lost track of time. Yeah, I don't think so. That makes no sense, though. You would have heard the bell ring at least. I always thought I've heard it since I was practicing piano. Piano? I wasn't aware that you played music as well, Monica. I don't really. I kind of just started recently. I've always wanted to learn piano. That's so cool. You should play something for us, Monica. Monica looks at me. Maybe once I get a little bit better, I will. Yay! That sounds cool. I'd also look forward to it. Is that so? In that case, I won't let you down. Thanks. Monica smiles sweetly. Well, before we go a little further, let's run Stream Raiders. There we go. 7 units for this boss battle. Me, Henchtoes, and Red Snade. Welcome in. Thank you very much. I don't know how well... Actually, no. We're not going to do this. Let's do this. Let's get to that killing field. Nope. Let me shut off the sound for this, too. No! Damn fool. We started with 7. We're down to 6. 5. 4. Oh, we're going to get massacred. 1. Nothing. Oh, yeah. We got killed. Alright. We're going to try again. This is a pain in the ass. Why am I getting so many enemies? Alright, well, we'll try you now. And then we'll try here. Again, why am I getting so many enemies? I understand it's a boss, but damn, I don't get that much help. Alright, folks, we're going to try it again. Monica smiles sweetly. I didn't mean any pressure or anything like that. Don't worry. I've been practicing a whole lot recently. And I'd really love the chance to share it once I'm ready. I see. In that case, best of luck. Thanks. So I didn't miss anything, did I? Not really. Just Natsuki throwing a cookie in Sayori's face. I chose to leave out Sayori's mischievous escapade. I'm sure Natsuki will end up complaining to her anyway. Looks like everyone has already settled down. Sayori somehow already finished her entire cookie. Red Snake, thank you for the epic toy soldier musketeer. Very kind of you. Very generous. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll start a fresh page. Yuri. Let's see. I can probably fit 2 to 3 words per line. How many lines are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. I can fit 20. 17. 6. That's close enough. All right. Yuri's back to her book, and Natsuki. Oh, it is an I. I thought it was an E. It is an I. I had an I originally, then I changed it to an E. And Natsuki disappeared into the closet. Yuri's reading her book, and Natsuki's probably reading her manga back there. Hey, Yuri. Eh? I suddenly noticed that Yuri is reading a different book from the one we've been reading together. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. No. I was kind of just waiting for you. If that's the case, why don't we go ahead and get started? Yes, let's. Actually, I have a request. Do you mind if I make some tea first? Not at all. Thanks very much. Is there one thing that I can make my... if there's one thing that can make my reading time here any better, it's a nice cup of tea. Not to mention for yourself as well. Yuri stands up and makes her way to the closet. I'm sure if the poem I wrote was geared towards one of the other 2 girls, I'd be having an interaction with her. But I'm trying to see if I can get a 20 out of 20 poem with Yuri, and then I'll start on the other girls. I follow and watch as she retrieves a small water pitcher from the shelf, the kind with a filter inside. Can you hold this for a second? Sure. Yuri hands me the water pitcher and also fetches an electric kettle. I'm going to plug this in at the teacher's desk, and then we'll go get some water. She walks past me and sets the kettle down on the teacher's desk. I simply watch her movements. To my surprise, the way she moves really contrasts her speaking mannerisms, especially because of her long legs. Yuri appears elegant and methodical. Okay, may I have the water pitcher? Thanks, I'll be right back. I might as well walk with you. Yeah, why not? Shall we go then? Yeah. Where are you two off to? We're just... Yuri's going to make some tea, so... I suddenly realized how weird it sounds to explain this to Monica. We're just filling the water pitcher. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was just a bit curious. That's kind of a one-person job, isn't it? That's... Monica, please mind your own business. Whoa! Yuri! Or do you want to tell me there's something wrong with helping involve Cecil in club activities? Or do you want to tell me there's something wrong with helping involve Cecil? Okay. My mouth gapes. You what? I suppose there's nothing wrong with that. Then let's go, Cecil. Yuri quickly exits the room and I follow. Once in the hallway, she suddenly puts her forehead against the wall. I spoke without thinking. How could I say something like that? Yuri? Something about the way she said that. It made me feel so irritated. What's wrong with me? No, Yuri. I think you did the right thing. I wasn't expecting it, but it's also not right for Monica to judge people like that. Cecil. How come even when I do something bad, you're being nice to me? Because nothing that you do is as bad as you make it seem in your head. Nobody's perfect. We have emotions, and we can't always hide them anyway. But you always amplify things in your head. Your mind turns a light rain shower into a hurricane. No. Wouldn't you hate me for something as terrible as that? Why would I hate you? I can't hate someone for having emotions. What kind of friend would do that? Friend, you say? Yuri tilts her head, or lifts her head. Cecil, I really like being friends with you. Now the nervous laugh from me. Thanks, Yuri. I like being friends with you, too. I feel kind of awkward saying something like that. But in doing my best to help Yuri feel better. Anyway. Yeah. Shall we go? Yeah. Yuri and I walked to the nearest water fountain. Once we filled up the water pitcher, we returned to the classroom. Cecil, do you like oolong tea? Yeah. Anything is fine. Very well. Yuri sets the temperature on the kettle to 200 degrees. Now it's time to get the teapot. You really do this properly, don't you? Of course. I shouldn't do anything less when I'm making tea for others. Even if I'm not an expert on tea or anything. In that case, you'll only be even more impressed. Perhaps I will. Yuri fetches the teapot and begins measuring the tea leaves. To my surprise, she even starts humming a little to herself. You must be in a good mood now. Is that so? I was letting it show? And you noticed. I was doing a bit of thinking. And I decided that I would try expressing myself a little bit more. It turns out it's not very hard for me to do. When it's you who's around anyway. That's great, Yuri. Just don't push yourself too much. You're always worrying about me, Cecil. It's very endearing. Yuri wasn't kidding. I don't even know if I can keep up with this. I watched Yuri pour a cup of tea for each of us. Cecil, I have another request. Do you mind if we sit on the floor today? I don't know with these old bones. Why's that? It's a little bit easier on my back. I can read with my back against the wall rather than bending over at my desk. Sorry, I didn't realize. No worries. I just have back pain fairly regularly, so I do my best to manage it. Amen, sister. Is that so? I wonder why that is. It's most likely because your posture, right? Always hunched over like that while reading? Yes. I have terrible reading posture. That's why we should sit on the floor. I don't think that's what she meant. Fair enough. So this makes me wonder, is there something more going on at home that she has this poor posture? Or is it because that buxom females generally have lower back pain from the weight of their front? Fair enough. I'll go ahead and get the book. I retrieved the book from my bag. I have some chocolates as well. It's a bag of small chocolate candies that I kept hidden from Sayori's candy radar. I'm hiding chocolates now. I take it since it'll go well with the tea. Yuri and I then sit against the wall, teacups at our sides. As if in sync, we assumed the same reading position as last time, each holding one half of the book. Except this time, our bodies are even closer to each other. I can't see too well. What's wrong, dear? Yuri slides closer until her shoulders are touching. How am I supposed to focus on reading like this? Yuri was always kind of cute, but when she's being less apprehensive, it's almost more than I can handle. Your teacup. Yuri hands me my teacup. Holding it with my hand that's not holding the book, I end up in a position that makes it even harder to focus. Because I'm holding the book with my right hand, my teacup in the left, and looking at her. Yeah, this is... Hi. How are you? Oh, Pinky. It's T. How are you? Nice to see you. And we're on the floor. Practically nose to nose. Because now I need to worry about making sure I don't accidentally touch her chest. Meanwhile, Yuri hasn't noticed a single thing. Oh, I'm sure she has. She wears her intense reading expression, and I can only presume the world around her has faded away. I use all of my willpower to focus on reading. After a few minutes, I finally manage to relax a little. I put the teacup between my legs and fumble with the chocolate wrapper. Sorry. I briefly let go of the book to finish opening the wrapper. You can have as much as you want. That's okay. I won't take any. Yeah, are you sure? Well, if I touch it, then it might get smudges on the pages. True. I know I've done that. When I actually read books instead of like digital books. You get something on your hands, you touch a page, it smears it. You're right. I didn't even think about that. My bad. No need to apologize. I'll hold the book, okay? Are you sure? Of course. Yuri opens the book with both hands. She holds it so that I don't have any harder of a time reading from it. But as a result, her left arm is practically resting on top of my leg. Well, in that case, Yuri's already totally focused on reading again. I take a chocolate candy and pop it into my mouth. We're going to have to force a chocolate into her mouth. Then I take another chocolate and I hold it up to Yuri. Yep, I called it. Her eyes should turn towards us. She doesn't even look away from the book. She simply parts her lips as if this situation was completely natural. But that means I can't stop here. I apprehensively place the chocolate in her mouth. Just like that, Yuri closes her lips over it. Eh? Yuri's expression suddenly breaks. She realizes she's got chocolate in her mouth. Did I just... Yuri looks at me like she needs to confirm what just happened. Cecil? Sorry. I guess I shouldn't have done that. Well, you were just helping. That's something that friends do, right? I mean, not really in this kind of context, but yeah, that's all it was. Yeah. Then you don't need to stop or anything. Okay. Apparently she wants me to feed her chocolates. I see. The situation has gotten really tense. Yuri tries to return to the book, but I can tell just by her expression that even she can't focus now. My heart is pounding. I nervously take another chocolate between my fingers. What the fuck is... Did this just become a teenage dating sim? Did I get suckered in? But this time, Yuri's eyes meet mine. How did it even come to this? Yuri doesn't avert her gaze. I notice her chest rising and falling to the rhythm of her breaths. I raise my arm. Like before, Yuri parts her lips. But it's different this time. I take the chocolate and place it in her mouth. I feel her hot breath on my fingers. Okay, everyone! Oh, thank God. Thank you, Monica. What the fuck was going on? Okay, this... I did not read up on anything about this game other than the serious nature of some of the topics in this game. What the fuck is going on? Again, I understand it's a visual novel, but what the fuck? Okay, everyone. Yuri jolts back. It's time to share poems. Cecil, you can help Yuri put away the tea stuff, right? Yeah, of course. Okay, thanks. The spell is abruptly broken. Okay. Looks like I'm full on with Yuri to the end of the game. Or whenever that is. I don't know if there is an end. Or how this ends. Or what the hell happens. The spell is abruptly broken. I'll take care of the cups. Yeah. Yuri picks up the teacups from the floor. I pick up the bag of chocolates. In the end, we hastily clean up without so much as a word between us. I get the feeling that this is something neither of us will have the courage to bring up. Who should I show my poem to first? Well, of course, we're doing Yuri. Let's see what you've written for today. Yuri stares at the poem with a surprised expression on her face. Do you like it? Cecil, this one might be even better than yesterday's. How did you even pick up on this so quickly? Just yesterday I was telling you the kind of technique worth practicing. Maybe that's why. You did a good job explaining. I really wanted to try giving it more imagery. Yuri visibly swallows. Even her hands appear sweaty. I'm not used to this. Used to what? I don't know. It's fine. Take your time. Yuri breathes and collects her thoughts. I know that Yuri likes to think before she speaks, so I offer that patience to her. Yeah. Just being appreciated like this, I guess. It probably sounds really stupid, but seeing someone motivated by my writing, it just makes me really happy. You saying you've never shared your writing before? Yuri nods. Really? I don't believe it. I really only write for myself. And besides, people would just laugh at me. Do you really think that? Again, Yuri nods. Huh? Even your close friends? Yuri doesn't respond to that. I don't think she has friends. I think she's the odd loner. Because of her being different, I guess. And the things that she writes about. I think she's the odd loner and she doesn't have any friends. And maybe that's what's drawing me to her, because I can, I'm the same way, I guess. I don't have any friends. I'm a very um, interesting individual in the way I think and the opinions I have, which are not the most popular. So, I gotta blow my nose again. All the talking making my sinuses. And Sayori is going to be about it, but Natsuki's going to hate it. Yuri doesn't respond to that. I wonder why. Anyway, do you want to share that poem you wrote today? Yeah. I do. If it's with you. Oh my God. The raccoon. It happened in the dead of night while I was slicing bread for a guilty snack. My attention was caught by the scuttering of a raccoon outside my window. That was, I believe, the first time I noticed my strange tendencies as an unordinary human. I gave the raccoon a piece of bread, my subconscious well aware of the consequences. Well aware that a raccoon that is fed will always come back for more. The enticing beauty of my cutting knife was the symptom. The bread, my hungry curiosity, the raccoon, an urge. The moon increments its phase and reflects that much more light off my cutting knife. The very same light that glistens in the eyes of my raccoon friend. I slice the bread fresh and soft. The raccoon becomes excited. Or perhaps I'm merely projecting my emotions onto the newly satisfied animal. The raccoon has taken to following me. You could say that we've gotten quite used to each other. The raccoon becomes hungry more and more frequently, so my bread is always handy. Every time I brandish my cutting knife, the raccoon shows me its excitement. A rush of blood. Classic Pavlovian conditioning. I slice the bread, and I feed myself again. Deep shit. I was a little more daring with this one than yesterday's. I can see that. It's a lot more metaphorical. I don't know if it's my fault, but I can't begin to imagine what this poem is about. That's right. It's a bit closer to my preferred writing style. Using the poem as a canvas to express vivid imagery and conveying emotions through them. Yeah, if I take it at face value, then I can't even figure out what it's supposed to mean. Well, I think it's something that different people can relate to in their own way. I wanted to express the way it feels for me to indulge in my more unusual hobbies. It's those sorts of things that I'm usually forced to keep to myself. So I sometimes enjoy writing about them. Why do you keep them to yourself? Because they're embarrassing. And people would make fun of me. Don't you have anything like that, Cecil? Well, yeah, I guess I do. I feel like everyone has a little something like that. But the best we can do is respect each other and our individualities. Even if it's difficult sometimes and some things make us uncomfortable. After all, if I hadn't learned to embrace my own weirdness, I would probably hate myself. I might be ranting a little bit now, but I'm glad that you're a good listener. You're good at a lot of things. Writing, listening. There really aren't many people like you, Cecil. Well, that's exaggerating a little bit. It's just how I feel. I never thought I would feel so comfortable sharing my writing. But now I almost feel like I look forward to it. It's just a really nice feeling. And you're to thank for that. It's nothing, really. Yuri smiles sincerely at me. For just a moment, her timidness seems to disappear. All right, Sayori. Monica's always last. Oh, I like this one, Cecil. It has some nice feelings in it. Ah, I'm glad. Does it mean it's better than yesterday's? Let me think. I don't know. I guess I like them both. That's not very helpful, you know. Well, I'm not very good at figuring out if poems are good or bad. But that's why I just go by my heart. If it makes me feel things, then it must be a good poem. I'm not sure that's exactly how it works. Then again, I guess conveying feelings is a pretty important part of this whole thing. My God. I'm glad I'm only doing this on the short days. Oh. Yeah, maybe. Honestly, I don't even know what kind of writing you like in the first place. Yeah, me neither. Why don't you at least try giving it some thought? Oh, you want to write something for me? That's so sweet. Yeah, right. But you're always thinking about other people. You need to think about yourself once in a while. If you don't, you might end up getting hurt at some point. Eh? Well, I don't really know what you mean, but I'll try to keep it in mind. Well, whatever. Anyway, let's see. I guess I like happy poems. Wait, sometimes I like sad poems too. Sometimes a little bit of both. There's a word for that, right? What's the word I'm looking for? Bittersweet? Yeah. I like things that are happy and things that are sad. Happy and sad? I can't see you liking something sad, Sayori. Well, I like happy the most. But sometimes when you have a little rain cloud in your head, a sad poem can help give the rain cloud a little hug and make a nice happy rainbow. Sayori, that's unexpectedly poetic. Eh? It is? Maybe I'm getting better at expressing my feelings after all. Thanks, Cecil. I should go write that down then. You can read my poem now, okay? Bottles. I pop off my scalp like the lid of a cookie jar. It's the secret place where I keep all my dreams. Little balls of sunshine all rubbing together like a bundle of kittens. I reach inside with my thumb and forefinger and pluck one out. It's warm and tingly. But there's no time to waste. I put it in a bottle to keep it safe, and I put the bottle on the shelf with all the other bottles. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts in bottles all in a row. My collection makes me lots of friends. Each bottle a starlight to make amends. Sometimes my friend feels a certain way. Down comes a bottle to save the day. Night after night, more dreams. Friend after friend, more bottles. Deeper and deeper my fingers go, like exploring a dark cave, discovering the secrets hiding in the nooks and crannies. Dinging and dinging. Scraping and scraping. I blow dust off my bottle caps. Doesn't feel like time elapsed. My empty shelf could use some more. My friends look through my locked front door. Finally all done, I open up, and in come my friends. In they come in such a hurry. Do they want my bottles that much? I frantically pull them from the shelf, one after the other, holding them out to each and every friend, each and every bottle. But every time I let one go, it shatters against the tile between my feet. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts in shards all over the floor. They were supposed to be for my friends who aren't smiling. They're all shouting, pleading, something. But all I hear is echo, 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 echo inside my head. Wow. Holy crap. Sayori, did you really write this? Of course I did. Didn't I tell you yesterday I was going to write the best poem ever? Yeah, but I didn't expect something like this coming from you. Monica taught me a whole lot. And I've been really in touch with my feelings recently. I see that. It's almost kind of creepy. Creepy? Well, not exactly. Maybe because I'm so used to you being cheerful. Well, never mind. I'm thinking too hard about it. The point is, it came out good. You should be proud of it. Aw, thanks. I feel like I was meant to express myself this way. It even helps me understand my own feelings a little bit better. Writing is like magic. You've gotten pretty passionate about this, huh? I hope you keep it up. Yeah! Writing's the best. I'm going to keep writing until I die. Haha, don't get ahead of yourself. Sayori's always had a habit of getting obsessed with something before dropping it no more than a week later. I wonder if this is one of those times. But seeing the passion in her eyes makes it hard for me to be pessimistic. Alright, time for Natsuki to rip it apart. Because I put nothing in here that she likes. Well, I can admit that it's better than the last one. It's nice to see that you're putting in some effort. That's good. But I still don't like this at all. Yeah, I knew she wouldn't. It's trying too hard to be serious. Eh? What do you mean by that? Poems don't need to be all deep sounding to express something. It's going to just sound like you're forcing it unless you really don't suck at it. Honestly, don't bother trying to write poems like this until you're on Yuri's level. Natsuki stopped short all of a sudden. Don't tell me. Eh? You're not just trying to impress Yuri, are you? Fuck yeah, I am. What are you talking about? Keep your voice down. You know Yuri would love this angsty. Just because she's a talented writer doesn't mean... Looks like I'm in trouble. Oh yeah. I sure as fuck am writing this for Yuri. Alright, we got 8 troops this time. We had 7 last time, we got 8 this time. But we still have a shitload. Red State and Hench Toast, thank you both. But we still have a shitload of fighters out here. Let's go defensive. Let's start this. Let's see. Yeah, we're getting decimated. We might actually just pull this off, though. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Whew. Red stayed with 45. I had 37. Oh, Red stayed. Whew, that was clutch. But nice job with that vampire, though. 50. Red Snade, I usually do rando, but you were clutch in that, so I am giving that to you. Thank you for that help. Alright. That's done. Oh boy, now we're in the desert. And we got 50 boss kills. Thank you one and all for 50 boss kills. Alrighty. Now we're going to have some fun. We're going to try this one here. These are usually archer. Yeah, these are archer places. So let's do this and this. And sneeze. All right, ladies and gents, boys and girls, and everyone in between. Stage is set. Get your fighters in the field. It is clobbering time. Any and all help is greatly appreciated. Nothing else? Okay. Looks like I'm in trouble. I somehow struck a nerve. Though what I did is beyond me. Oh no, I know what I did. I am so done with you. Natsuki shoves the poem I handed her back over to me. Take your stupid poem. If you wrote it for someone else, just don't show it to me. Ouch. This is what I get for letting a younger girl step into my business. Unless I was a mind reader, I was destined to be in a world of pain from the start. At least Natsuki wasn't really the girl I was trying to impress in the first place. I don't even get to read hers. Hi again, Cecil. How's the writing going? All right, I guess. I'll take that. As long as it's not going bad. I'm happy that you're applying yourself. Maybe soon you'll come up with a masterpiece. I wouldn't count on that. You never know. Want to share what you wrote for today? Sure, here you go. I gave my poem to Monica. All right. This one's good. Feels like you're not only getting more comfortable with your style, but the imagery is better than the last one I read. Just wondering, but have you been finding inspiration in Yuri's writing style? I guess so. You can't deny that she's talented. Yeah, totally. I think her poems are the most romantic. That's the best way to describe it. She's like a totally different person when she picks up a pen. I noticed it too. Or when she's talking about literature, it's like a light turns on inside her. Sadly, it's hard to get much personal conversation out of her. Trust me, I've tried. Who knows what goes on in that head of hers? I hope you don't mean that in a bad way. No, of course not. I just mean that I wish she didn't keep so much to herself. But still, defending her like that, you must be pretty into her. Eh? You completely misunderstood. Calm down, I'm kidding. Besides, I'm pretty sure she's already got a boyfriend. Wait, really? Yeah, a fictional one anyway. Monica kind of whispers that last part to me. It's just a hunch, but, well, there's not really anything wrong with that. Oh, well, I know. I was just saying. But anyway, you want to read my poem now? I like the way this one turned out. I hope you do too. All right, let's take a look. Save Me. Oh, I don't like that title. The colors, they won't stop. Bright, beautiful colors. Flashing, expanding, piercing. Red, green, blue. An endless cacophony of meaningless noise. That almost sounds like sirens. That's the imagery I get from that. It's like sirens and flashing lights. The noise, it won't stop. Violent, grating waveforms. Squeaking, screeching, piercing. Sine, cosine, tangent. Like playing a chalkboard on a turntable. Like playing a vinyl on a pizza crust. An endless poem of meaningless. Load me. Oh, I don't like the way she's going with this. It's even more abstract than your last one, huh? I guess it's just the way I write. I'm sorry if you don't like it. No, I never said that. It's just the kind of thing I've never really seen before, I guess. I kind of like playing with my space on the paper. Choosing where and how to space your words could totally change the mood of the poem. It's almost like magic. The way I wrote the lines really short makes it feel like they're trying to speak over the noise. I see. It's still hard for me to tell what it's about, though. Sometimes asking what a poem is about isn't the right question. A poem can be abstract as a physical expression of a feeling, or a conversation with the reader. So putting it that way, not every poem is about something. Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes you'll find yourself facing a difficult decision. When that happens, don't forget to save your game. You never know when you might change your mind. Or when something unexpected may happen. Wait, is this tip even about writing? What am I even talking about? That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. Okay, everyone. We're all done reading each other's poems, right? That's why I'm saving before every writing session. This way, on my own time, I can go back and write the perfect poems for all three of the girls to find out what's going on. We're all done reading each other's poems, right? I have something extra planned today, so if everyone could come sit at the front of the room. Is this about the festival? Well, sort of. Do we really have to do something for the festival? It's not like we can put together anything good in just a few days. We'll just end up embarrassing ourselves instead of getting any new members. That's a concern of mine as well. I don't really do well with last-minute preparations. Don't worry so much. We're going to keep it simple, okay? We won't need much more than a few decorations. Sayori has been working on posters, and I've designed some pamphlets we can give out during the event. Okay, that's great and all, but that doesn't tell us what we're actually going to be doing for the event. Sorry, I thought you heard about it already. I love the piano. The piano is a beautiful instrument. I wish I had the manual dexterity to be able to play the piano. But this piano is just so good. I love piano, piano music. We're going to be performing. Performing? Nani? Monica. Yeah, we're going to be having a poetry performance. Each of us are going to choose a poem to recite during the event. But the cool part is we're also going to let anyone else come up and recite poems too. Sayori's putting it all into posters in case anyone wants to prepare ahead of time. Sayori, who's been coloring posters? Oh, Sayori, who's been coloring a poster, holds it up for us to see. Are you kidding me, Monica? You didn't already start putting those posters up, did you? Well, I did. Do you really think it's that bad of an idea? Well, no. It's not a bad idea, but I didn't sign up for this, you know. There's no way I'm going to be performing in front of a group of people like that. I agree with Natsuki. I could never in my life do something like that. Imagining it, Yuri shakes her head in fear. Guys. No, Sayori. I understand where they're coming from. Remember that Natsuki and Yuri have never shared their poems with anyone until just a couple days ago. It's a lot to ask for them to recite their poems out loud to a whole room full of people. I guess I kind of overlooked that. So I'm sorry. But I still think we should give it our best. We're the only ones responsible for the fate of this club. If we start the event and each put on a good performance, then it will inspire others to do the same. And the more people who perform, the better we will be able to show everyone what literature is all about. Yeah! It's about expressing your feelings, being intimate with yourself, giggity, finding new horizons, and having fun. That's right. And it's those reasons that we're all in this club today. Don't you want to share that with the others? To inspire them to find the same feelings that brought you here in the first place? I know you do. I know we all do. And if all it takes is standing in front of the room for 2 minutes and reciting a poem, then I know you can do it. Natsuki and Yuri are having none of it. Natsuki and Yuri remain silent. Sayori looks worried. I guess it leaves me no choice. I agree. I don't think it's too much to ask. I think Sayori and Monica have been trying really hard to get new members. The least we can do is help them out a little bit. Well, maybe, but it looks like Natsuki doesn't have any arguments left. Okay, fine. I guess I'll just have to get it over with. All right. Whew. Thanks, Natsuki. What about you, Yuri? Oh, yeah, she's still iffy. Yuri dejectedly glances around at everyone else's expectant faces. I guess I don't really have a choice. That's everyone. You're the best, Yuri. This club is seriously going to be the death of me. Oh, gosh. You'll be fine, Yuri. But anyway, let's move on to the main event. I want each of you to choose a poem of yours. We're going to practice reciting them in front of each other. No way! Monica! This is too sudden. Well, if you can't recite your poem in front of the club, how do you expect to do it in front of strangers? Oh no. Don't worry. I'll start off to help everyone feel a little more comfortable. Can I go next? Of course. Now let's see. Monica flips through her notebook to the specific poem she has in mind for herself. She then stands behind the podium. The title of this poem is The Way They Fly. Ahem. Monica begins reciting her poem. Her clear, confident voice fills the room. More than that, her inflection is pristine. She knows exactly how to apply emotion behind each line she recites, bringing the words to life. Is this something she's done before, or is she simply a natural? I glance around me. Everyone has their eyes on Monica. Sayori looks amazed. Yuri has an intense expression on her face that I don't understand. Finally, Monica finishes the recitation. The four of us applaud. Monica takes a breath and smiles. That was so good, Monica. Thank you very much. I was just hoping to set a good example. Are you ready to go next, Sayori? I'll go next. Oh, Yuri. What? Yuri's fired up all of a sudden. My violet-eyed beauty. Hench toes, stretch. Okay. This is an interesting game. Posture check, and where's the third one? Oh, baby. Yep, there it is. Oh. Posture check and hydrate. Oh, goodness. Red Snade with the epic Frozen Mage. Thank you very much, Red Snade, for another epic unit on the field. Very kind of you, very generous. Whew. This is a very intense game, and I'm just beginning it. Wow, Yuri's fired up all of a sudden. Yuri clutches a sheet of paper between her hands and stands up. Keeping her head down, she walks quickly over to the podium. This poem is called... Yuri anxiously glances at each of us. You can do it, Yuri. It's called After Image of a Crimson Eye. Yuri's voice shakes as she starts reading the poem. Just a moment ago, she practically refused to do this. Why is she suddenly putting in so much effort? As Yuri gets past the first couple of lines, her voice changes. It's almost like what happens when Yuri gets absorbed into her books. Her quivering words transform into the sharp syllables of a fierce and confident woman. The poem is full of twists and turns in its structure that she enunciates with perfect timing. This must be a rare glimpse into the whirling fire Yuri keeps concealed inside her head. Suddenly, she's finished. Everyone is stunned. Yuri snaps back into reality and glances around her as if she's bewildered even herself. It's up to me to save the situation. I'm the first one to start applauding. Everyone joins me afterward and we give Yuri the recognition she deserves. Yeah! It's not that we didn't want to applaud for her, but we were caught so off guard that we must have forgotten. As we applaud, Yuri holds the poem to her chest and rushes back to her seat. Yuri, that was really good. Thank you for sharing. Looks like Yuri is down for the count. Okay, I guess I'm next then. Sayori hops out of her chair and cheerfully walks to the podium. This one's called My Meadow. Ah. Sorry, I giggled. Sayori? It's a lot harder than I thought. How did you guys do it so easily? Try to think of it like you're reciting to other people. Imagine reciting it to yourself, like in front of a mirror or in your own head. It's your poem, so it'll come out the best. I'll come out the best that way. I see. Okay then. Sayori begins her poem. Somehow it feels like her soft voice was made as a perfect match. The poem isn't aimlessly cheery like Sayori is. It's serene and bittersweet. If I were to read this on paper, I probably wouldn't think much of it. But hearing it come from Sayori's voice almost gives it a whole new meaning. Maybe this is what Sayori meant when she said she likes my poems. It's like I get to reach more deeply into someone I thought I knew through and through. Sayori finishes and we applaud. I did it! Good job, Sayori. Even Cecil liked it. I guess that's a good sign. What does that even mean? It came out nicely, Sayori. The atmosphere of the poem fits you really nicely. But it might be that other poems wouldn't work quite as well with that kind of delivery. Eh? I don't really understand. In other words, I've seen poems of yours where that sort of gentle delivery wouldn't work as well. They might need a little more force behind them, depending on what you're reading. Oh, I know what you mean. Well, I've been practicing that kind of thing. It's just embarrassing to do it in front of everyone. The next time, I'm going to make you pick a poem that challenges you a little more. We don't have much time before the festival, you know. Okay. Now, who's next? Natsuki? Where we go before Cecil? It's not like I can compare to you guys anyway. Might as well let Cecil lower everyone's standards a little bit before I have to do it. Natsuki? It's fine, it's fine. I might as well get it over with. But it's not like I have much of a selection of what to read. I'll just have to go with what I wrote for today. I stand up and step in front of the podium. Everyone has their eyes on me, making me feel terribly awkward. Hello, ladies. They're even in height order, too. Yuri, Monica, Sayori, and then Natsuki. They're in height order. And I think somebody mentioned, I think they're in boob order, too, from largest to smallest. I recite my poem. Since I'm not exactly confident in my own writing, it's hard to put energy into it. Despite that, once I finish, I receive applause anyways. Sorry, I'm not really as good as everyone else. Don't worry about it so much. I think it's less about your abilities and more about your lack of confidence in your writing. That's something that'll improve over time, though. Yeah, maybe. Alright then. That just leaves you, Natsuki. Yeah. I'm going. Natsuki begrudgingly gets out of her seat and makes her way to the podium. This poem is called... Why are you all looking at me? That's because we're supposed to do. Because you're presenting. Huh. Anyway, the poem is called Jump. Natsuki takes a breath. Once she starts reciting the poem, her sour attitude disappears a little. While she's still a little unenthused, her poem has a rhythm and rhyme to it. It's Natsuki's trademark style, and it works surprisingly well when spoken aloud. The words feel like they bounce up and down, as if giving life to the poem. Natsuki finishes, and everyone applauds. She huffs back to her seat. That wasn't so bad, was it? Easy for you to say. You'd better not make me do that again. You gotta do it at the festival. Well, do you at least feel prepared enough to recite a poem in front of the other people? I mean, doing it in front of other people will be way easier. I can put on whatever face I want for other people. But when it's just my friends, it's just embarrassing. That's a surprise, Natsuki. I think it would be the other way around for me. Well, that's just how it is, so... Well, I guess in that case, you won't have much to worry about for the festival. With that said, I want to thank everyone for coming through. It might be hard, but I hope that all have an idea of what it's like now. Make sure you pick a poem and get enough practice before the festival, okay? I'll be making pamphlets, so let me know ahead of time what you'll be reciting. Jeez. I should probably find some other poem to recite instead. Ooh. That's fine too. It doesn't have to be your own. I'm already pleasantly surprised that you're putting in all this effort for the club. It makes me really happy. It does, huh? Yeah, no problem. Okay, everyone. I think that's about it for today. Thank God. I know the festival is coming up, but let's try to write poems for tomorrow as well. It's been working out really nicely so far, so I'd like to continue that. As for the festival, we'll finish planning tomorrow, and then we'll have the weekend to prepare. Monday's the big day. I can't wait. I can do this. All right. I stand up. There's no way I'll be able to find the same enthusiasm as Sayori and Monica, but I'll do my best to get through it. If it's for the sake of the club and impressing Monica, then I'll have to do my best. Ready to go, Sayori? Yep. Look at you two, always going home together like that. It's kind of adorable, isn't it? Hey. Jeez, guys. Don't make such a big deal out of it. Must be a little nice, though. Oh, I don't think Yuri has anybody to go home to. Well, how am I supposed to respond to that? It's okay, Cecil. You don't have to say it. Whatever. Let's go already. I walk home with Sayori once more. Even though it's only been a few days, a lot of things have already changed. But today, Sayori is being a little quieter than usual on the way home. Hey, Sayori. Sorry, I was spacing out. Ah, no wonder. I was thinking about something from earlier. I like how we get to... Sayori fumbles with her words. So, let's just say that one day Yuri asked to walk home with you. Huh? What would you do? What kind of question is that? You're kind of putting me on the spot here. Well, I'm going to walk home with Yuri. That's how this shit's going to work. Walking home with Yuri, huh? Why does the thought of that make my heart pound? I mean, given how hard it is for her to socialize, it would feel awful turning her down, so... Isn't she so beautiful and smart? That has nothing to do with what I just said. Liar! Haha, you admitted it! Jeez. There's not even any point in speculating something that's never going to happen. Well, maybe. But I just like to think about it. It's not long before you won't need me anymore, you know. Need you? Sayori? I can't figure out how you're seeing things in your head right now. Sorry. Everyone is different. Nobody in the club is a replacement for you. Hmm? If you say so. Conversation trails off and I'm left feeling awkward. To hell with it. I'm going full on for Yuri. But it was kind of her fault for trapping me with such a weird question. I can't just lie to her. But if there's something that makes her happy, I would hate to take that away from her. That's why I said there's no point in speculating. And again, the festival's only a few days away. Who knows what will happen in that time. Okay. I'm going to save. Looks like each chapter takes an hour. And I think these are the same words. They're just grouped together differently. So, this is going to be it for today for the DDLC. My voice is going to be run ragged with these with this reading and speaking for 3.5 hours. So when we pick this up again on Wednesday, no. I've already saved here. Yes. The side stories are stories of friendship that are unrelated to the events of the main game. To get all 6 side stories, try writing poems for different characters and viewing their special scenes in DDLC. I think this is supposed to be Monica and Sayori. And this is Sayori and Yuri. Oh, no. I don't want to begin a side story just yet. I got pictures. Okay. There's the girls. Oh, I could set these as wallpapers. Okay. All their chibi designs. Sayori's first poem, Sayori's second poem, Natsuki's first, Yuri's first, Yuri's second, Monika's first, Monika's second. Acquisition procedure, write a poem for Yuri. Write a second poem for Yuri. Residential area, corridor, classroom, use for meetings, background. Select the word horror during the poem game. Oh my god. Monika's here with a little sucker. Natsuki is tearing into that. Sayori's getting candy and Yuri's over here reading and drinking blood. That's actually cool. I haven't unlocked any secrets yet. I don't know what CGs are. Poems, wallpapers. Yeah, that's the original. Doki doki. Okay. All right. Let's quit. Oh, my goodness. So we got 2 minutes left on Stream Raiders. That'll be it. While that 2 minutes is running down, I want to thank everybody for stopping out. Everybody for hanging out. Everybody for coming along for this interesting journey. This is a complete departure from the games that I usually play. Complete departure. I don't do these type of dating sims. It's been fun. Hench Toes, thank you for that. Obviously, that's my goal. If the streams aren't fun, nobody's going to come out. Nobody's going to hang out. So, obviously, I want these streams to be fun. Bottom line. And if I'm having fun, that's going to come across. If I'm having a bad time, I know that comes across. I just fucking did that on Friday. Saturday. I just did that on Saturday when I threw my controller after the goddamn shooter, the argument armament. But if I'm having fun, and I am, I can say right now I am having fun. I don't know what kind of dark turn this game is going to take, but right now I'm having fun, and I do hope that comes across. Hench Toes, you said it was fun. I thank you for that. There will be no stream tomorrow. Actually, I can probably close this now. I can close out my settings. There will be no stream tomorrow. I'm scheduled to play cards, but as that is on a week-by-week basis, I probably won't know until tomorrow if I'm playing cards. But either way, there will be no stream tomorrow. We're going to do some more DDLC on Wednesday. We get to start off by writing another poem for Yuri to see if I can make any difference. Red Snake and Hench Toes, thank you both for the assistance here in Stream Raiders. I know Stream Raiders was acting really wonky today, so I understand not getting too much participation, so don't let the bug kill you. Hit him! See, this I don't understand. You're just going to stand there because you have no enemy to attack. All right. Somebody's getting 3 tank scrolls, and that is Red Snake. Congratulations there. That's going to wrap it up tonight. But once again, thank you, everybody, for coming out to a unusual stream for myself. Yes, GG's Hench Toes won that one fairly easily. Thank you for coming out to an unusual stream for me. This is not the kind of game I play. And as I get further into it, I realize it's really not the kind of game I play. But I'm having fun. Maybe because I'm a degenerate male and I'm going after young girls. I don't know. Although they're all over 18. But this game got to take a dark turn somewhere, or else those warnings wouldn't be in the front of that game. So we're gonna see what happens. But yes, until we see each other, it gets fun. Okay. I mean, it's fun right now. I'm really enjoying the music right now. I'm really enjoying it. Again, I was the whole time I'm sitting here bopping along to the background theme because I do enjoy that piano. But we'll see what happens. Again, Wednesday for more DDLC. The weekends will be Yakuza. Until we see each other again, remember what Jerry Springer said. Take care of yourself and each other. Get yourself vaccinated. Get your booster if you can. Take precautions. Keep yourself safe. Yes, absolutely, Hedge Toes. Stay safe. So, once again, thank you. Biggest thing I have to say, thank you. Until we do see each other again, as always in the chat, stay safe, be well. I thank every one of you. I appreciate every single one of you. You all have a pleasant day, evening, afternoon, and I will catch you again. Bye-bye.